following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Bare their souls. Got Danikin and Swifty is with us tonight, joining us. Man, and Barflies, thank you for spending Wednesdays with us. Aldo was on hiatus. You got Danikin and me and Zim will be along a little bit later. Fitz will be dropping by. I wanted to get Swifty. If you haven't been following Swifty, he's been having just some great content, man. I had to ask him to come on and just, talk some Bears with us. I mean, if you've been following, he's had clips of draft prospects. He's been talking about the stadium and Max Crosby. We're going to get into all of that. And we didn't have Danikin last week, and I forgot I wanted to ask Danikin about how he's doing after, the Bears season ended. We came like 3 points short of a date with the Seahawks in Seattle. And I mean, we'll get into the Bears opponents next season, but we'll have a chance to measure ourselves against the Seahawks next season. How are you doing? And then we'll get to Swifty. How you doing? But Danikin, tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing all right, man. I've made my peace with the way the season ended. Of course, there was some things that I didn't like about the game that went on, and some decisions and so on and so forth. But you live and you learn. This is a team that has a lot of learning to do, and I think they'll be all right for it. They'll be better for it in the long run. We are ahead of schedule, you know what I mean? And even though that is the case, you hate hearing that because, these windows in the NFL can open and close so quickly, like right? That. So, you want to take advantage of every opportunity that you have. So, they fell short, but, man, it was a heck of a season, and we really were treated to something really good, you know what I mean, from top to bottom, from not just on the football field or Caleb Williams. Everybody's enamored with that, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about from top to bottom, from ownership to, to GM to president of football. I mean, everybody pretty much was handling their business this year. It was a stark contrast to what we've seen over the last several years. And, the future is bright, if you want to call it that. If you want to say that, the future is bright. There's a positive outlook that we can have on it, but they got to get back to work and do some more things, because while they're at this point, everybody else in the league is trying to improve as well. So they got to stay on top of their game.
And I'm going to come back to you because I want you raised a little point there for me, but I want to get Swifty's thoughts on how you're doing. I mean, has the hurt gone away after just the most fun season in a long time? Just the surprise, the drama, everything, and then the letdown.
I think Danikin nailed it, man. I mean, with the NFL, you never know. Having an opportunity where you're only one game away from playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. For the Bears, we haven't been in that position for 15 years. So just knowing that opportunity with how injuries happen and how your team and roster, the makeup of a team changes from year to year, you never know when the next time we'll have another opportunity like this. But the arrow is pointed straight up for us. My entire life, we've been waiting to have a quarterback and a head coach as talented as Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. So I believe every single year we're going to at least have an opportunity to go out there and go on a special run, but we were right there this year. So I don't know if this one's going to stop hurting for a while. I will say, to the people comparing it to the Matt Nagy year in 2018, I don't think this is anything like that. I think this is completely different. This is the beginning of something. We have a young, bright core foundation that's in place, and this team should be good for a long time. But one of the reasons this year could have been so special to me is when you look at where we were, if we would have beat the Rams and knocked Matt Stafford out, the quarterbacks that were left in the playoffs, because that's what it comes down to when you're winning a Super Bowl is quarterbacks. And it would have been Sam Darnold that we faced in the NFC, and then the AFC, it was Drake May and Jarrett Stidham. I don't know if we'll ever have an opportunity where those are the three quarterbacks that Caleb Williams could potentially face. So it's always going to hurt a little bit. This was a special opportunity, but we should only get better as long if we can continue to draft well and develop players. This team should be good for the next decade or longer.
100% agree. And this is what I want to go. Ben Johnson said there's nothing to build on this season. I don't know whether he's the master motivator because and I'm torn between what he said and just the fact that the Bears, they have so much, like Danikin said, they have so much growing to do still. And the winning, the losing, whether or not to go for it on down seems to be a little bit of an issue for Bears fans as well. I mean, in the first quarter of the Rams game, with the score 0-0, we could have kicked a field goal. That might have changed the complexion of the game for a while. And this is what you get with a rookie head coach and basically a rookie quarterback. But yeah, they exceeded expectations. Ryan Poles offseason, he hit on almost everything. And we'll get into offseason moves for 2026 and what we think we should be doing. And I'm glad you guys chimed in. It hurts that we came so close, like Swifty said, to playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And,
Can I say?
Yeah.
Can I say? I like what Ben Johnson said when he says that you have to start basically over, start from scratch, scrap everything, go up. Essentially, that's what you're doing. I mean, because you're going to get tons of new faces. You got 7 or 8 rookies that are going to come in. You got undrafted free agents. You got signees that are going to come in. 20 to 30% of the roster is going to change, right? In my opinion. Now, it may not be that perfect, that number, but that's about how much the roster is going to change. So you got to come back together again. You got to build continuity again. It's a you're not in dynasty, right? Those teams that are dynasties, like the 49ers, I watched that documentary on AMC. Maybe we'll get into that later during pop culture. But, like a dynasty like that, or the Patriots, or, Pittsburgh, these dynasties, these are organizations that have been able to do it and put it together. And you could say that those type of organizations are building on something. But the Bears, who haven't accomplished much yet, they gotta. I agree with Ben Johnson. You got to restart it over because you have to build the same desire and drive that you had before. And I think that's what, like Swifty was saying, it's not the same as the Nagy era. When Matt Nagy was here in 2018, I knew that was flawed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that season was flawed. Yep. It was fun. I loved it, but I knew it was flawed, and I knew it could, bottom out pretty quickly. And in 2019, that's exactly what it did. Now, the Bears, they thought that it was going to be something different, right? The players, everybody was hyped up, Eddie Jackson, all those guys. And sure enough, they came out and they laid that egg. And it, like I said, it wasn't something that could be sustainable. And what the Bears are trying to do now is trying to build something that's sustainable over time. You know what I mean? And then that's when you get into that dynasty thing, or you can build upon last season type situations.
And we did talk about that last show with Aldo, where I said Nagy felt like they had built the foundation on sand, a house built on sand, and the Ben Johnson era feels a lot more solid. Well, the chat room is a buzz with Bears Stadium talk, and Swifty, you've been filling your days with some Bears Stadium talk. Why don't you break down kind of where you think it's headed?
So, I mean, the stadiums, it's one thing that I haven't followed as closely as a lot of people, but I just got done recording a video for tomorrow, shout out to Rob Schwartz, who went into all the numbers and went into a deep breakdown of that. But all along, I've thought one thing. I've thought since they spent nearly $200 million at Arlington Heights back in 2021, I think it was finalized in 2023, I've been dead set that they're going to build the stadium in Arlington Heights. But it's been nearly 5 years now, and Illinois has done nothing to let them advance and get that stadium started. They're not anywhere near closer to breaking ground now than they were when they purchased it in 2023. So I think at some point Kevin Warren has gotten sick of dealing with them, and he might have initially reached out to Indiana to try to build leverage, which is what I thought it was. When there was first announced that Indiana might come into play, I was like, it's just a leverage move, you know. He's trying to get Illinois to stop dragging their feet, but with the sweetheart deal that they've offered and how Illinois has done nothing on this, I think there is now a very real possibility that it could be built right over the border in Indiana. Now, it's still in the Chicagoland area, and I know a lot of people are like, they have their emotions attached to this. Look, where the stadium's built to me doesn't matter. As long as it's not further than an hour, 30-minute drive from downtown, then it's not going to really matter. The Jets have their stadium, New York Jets, New York Giants. It's in New Jersey. The Chiefs are going to have their stadium in a new state as well. That stuff happens. But we just need to get this stadium built, because right now we have the smallest stadium in the NFL. We're putting up that's hurting us when it comes to revenue. It's making tickets twice as expensive for Bears fans. For the working class families that want to take their kids and see a game, tickets are twice as much as they are any other stadium because of how small of a capacity it is. So we need to get a new stadium built. We need to have more seats, and hopefully things will get better for Bears fans. It'll be easier for us to go see games. But whether something will come out probably in the next month or so, I'd say we should know by May at the very latest what's going to happen with this. But I do think Indiana is a real possibility now, and I know a lot of fans are going to be emotional about that. They're not going to be called the Gary Bears. They're not going to be called the Indiana Bears. They're still the Chicago Bears. It's still in the Chicagoland area. It's still going to be right there on the lakefront. But it's a tough situation. I just want him to get it done, and so we can stop talking about it. Because honestly, I like talking football. I don't like talking politics. I don't like talking about stadiums.
I agree. I feel the same way.
They it's like you said, it's there's a ton of stadiums where they're not in the city. You know what I mean? Where Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones went and built it in Arlington, which is, it's a good 45-minute drive. It's right between Dallas and Fort Worth. So they're not in Dallas, but they're the Dallas Cowboys. It's never changed. It never will change. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. It just sucks that it would be a different state, right? That's the biggest thing. I think that's what people are more upset about. We could deal with Arlington Heights. We could deal with something in Illinois, but for it to be Indiana, and then I have a friend. He's calling me up talking about, oh, y'all are going to be called the Gary Indianimals from now on. You know what I mean? And things like that. So
I've heard it.
You know what I mean? You have those types of things, and it's like, well, you get sick and tired of hearing that. I think that's what the fans are more concerned about right now. But it'll die down if it ever happens that way. I still don't think it'll be in Indiana. I still think somehow, some way, things will get done. This is just, it's the politics. It's the, money. It's a lot of stuff that goes into this, man. You know what I mean? In the city of Chicago, they don't really want to give up the Bears that easily, because they, Bears are leasing that stadium. So, they're making a ton of money off of the Bears. And of course, the Bears want to make all of the money, like a Jerry Jones team or like a New York team, or, all these other teams that have their own stadium. We're a charter franchise and we don't have our own stadium. Like it makes no sense. You know what I mean? So it's about time that they do it, get it done, get it taken care of. And, the city, the state is dragging his feet, and that's creating problems.
Now, the one reason we want it to get done in Chicago, especially the people that are from Chicago in that area, is because what the stadium will bring in. There'll be a Super Bowl. The NFL makes those deals. When teams build new stadiums, they make deals with them that, hey, we'll give you at least one Super Bowl. You can host
right away.
Final Fours, all those other big events, college football, national championships. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds
Revenue.
of millions of dollars of revenue for the state and the city. So that should give the politicians enough motivation to get it done. But I'm not really into politics. I don't know
Like
how any
San
of that
Fran.
works.
When did that stadium open in San Fran? I got a pin who actually.
It's in
Yeah.
Santa Clara. It's not in San
Yeah.
Francisco.
No, it's not. But they opened their stadium. This is what
Yeah.
their second Super Bowl already since they opened it up, right?
Yep.
I think the Cowboys have had it there twice. It was been in New York when they opened up theirs. So you're going to get that. You're going to get the Final Four. You're going to get college football games. You're going to get all these different events, and it's real lucrative, man.
And if you were a business owner like the Bears are, you want the best deal. You can't knock the team for wanting the best deal. Now, the hang up with the Bears, and rightly so, is the enormous tax bill every year, which is around $170 million a year. And like Swifty was saying, by contrast, the United Center owners are paying like $3 million a year in taxes on the United Center. Now, I know it's a smaller venue, but still, it shouldn't be $160 million difference, and the assessed value of the stadium in Arlington Heights and Cook County taxes is what the holdup is. Now, it's kind of striking that the Bears, when they purchased Arlington Heights, and you can blame Ted Phillips for this because he didn't investigate the tax ramifications of a new stadium, and I was kind of like, well, if I had bought Arlington Heights, and I would just say, well, let's just go ahead and build it and let the county and the village worry about infrastructure and roads if they have to rework some roads with traffic, because there's a metro stop right here there's a Arlington Park metro stop, so you could take the train, which would ease some traffic burden if people want to commute from downtown. Just get off at the stadium and to talk about, you don't have to drink, or you don't have to drive, and you can drink all you want. But the whole complex in Arlington Heights, you have a campus. You could have a Bears Hall of Fame museum. You could have a casino. You could have a hotel. You could have bars and restaurants, a park, whatever, mixed use there. And like Swifty says, all the revenue from hosting all these giant events, concerts, Final Four, a Super Bowl. Chicago's never hosted a Super Bowl. And the revenue alone should be enough to offset what the state of Illinois and the county are asking for in taxes. The Bears want a scheduled tax schedule. Where they're knowing what they're going to be paying every year, because like every business, you want to know how to balance your books and budget for every year. So, but the revenue that the Bears could get themselves, owning their own stadium, the concessions, all the sales and everything, hosting, leasing the stadium, it will all be theirs. So the advantages to have it in Arlington Heights are tremendous. But out of the blue comes Northwest Indiana with a sweetheart deal, low taxes. We'll build the stadium, because they understand the revenue and the industry, the jobs it's going to bring to the area.
Exactly.
Something
and it's a year-round thing, like you said. It's year-round. I mean, the Braves out here, in baseball, they built a stadium. They got rid of their old stadium, and they didn't get rid of it. They actually sold it to like Georgia State. They play football there now. Georgia State does, but they built their stadium in Kennesaw, which is, I don't go to any Braves games anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's way too far from me now. But they built it in Kennesaw, and they have a campus type situation as well. They call it the Battery. Yeah. And I mean, it's lit all year. You know what I mean? There's tons of stuff to do.
Yeah.
It's restaurants, it's hotels, it's everything there. And it's created a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunities for people. And it's like year round, man, whether the Braves are in play or not.
Yeah. Imagine a hotel, casino, and restaurants and all the jobs that now flocking to the Bears Stadium complex. You're talking like 1,500 jobs, maybe more.
Yeah.
Year round for folks, whether it's restaurants or shops, retail, hotel work, casino, card dealers, all that stuff. I don't. Obviously, things are moving not fast enough for the Bears to get their stadium deal done. Anything else you guys would buy? I mean, would it bother you if the Bears were Northwest Indians? I don't think I'd care.
Initially, I would. Yeah.
Just for logistics reasons, I want them to stay in Illinois just because I've grown up in Illinois, and just I don't want. I know a lot of people will let their emotions get involved and they'll overreact if it goes to Indiana. I don't think that. I heard someone yesterday say a bunch of people would cancel their season tickets. I don't think anyone's going to be. They might be mad for a couple of days, but eventually they're going to get over it. I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal. I just want it to get done. I like talking football. I don't really like talking stadium talk.
Yep, but here we are. I mean, it feels like big news, but
we need a new stadium.
We do need a new stadium. So that's why I was so happy when they purchased the Arlington Park land, because Danikin, there were times I used to work downtown. I'd take the train to Schaumburg, and I got on the wrong train one time and ended up at Arlington Park. I had to have my mom come pick me up. But I know, right? One time. So I know that it would be a great location, and for the Bears to own their own franchise. Then you're talking about reinvesting in the team itself. The more money that's coming in, the more money they can invest in their own infrastructure, whether it's scouts or facilities, training facilities, all that stuff. They don't have to fly Dan Quinn here and coach. Right. All right. Another thing that Swifty's been talking about on his page is the Ian Cunningham compensatory picks. Oh man, which I don't understand why we're not getting compensatory picks. And actually, I was like, up until today, when I had to look it up, I was like, do the Bears ever get compensatory picks? And I was like, because I just can't remember. Ones. We've had like 21 compensatory picks since 1994 when they started the compensatory pick thing, but not the last one was in 2023. So I guess it has in 2021. It was like a
6th rounder. Yeah,
a 7th round pick, and 2021 we had a 4th round pick, which I think we used to trade for Nick Foles, as I understand it. But why don't you give us a little rundown on the Ian Cunningham situation? We're happy for Ian, of course.
Man, honestly, it feels like we got screwed over on a loophole. When Matt Ryan himself comes out and says that the GM job is going to be the exact same as the GM job has been the entire time. And just 4 years ago, when the Falcons hired their last GM from New Orleans, the Saints got the 2 third-round picks. So if it's the exact same GM job and he's making the same decisions before, how can you tell me that the Bears don't deserve the compensatory picks when they did everything right with Ian Cunningham? They brought him up. He's went through the interview process multiple times. He even turned down a GM job. And to me, I think they're just making a mockery of the entire Rooney Rule. And I just feel like it was stupid. Like, yes, Matt Ryan was brought in to oversee things, but he has 0 scouting experience. He said he's not going to be studying draft prospects. He's not going to be making those decisions. So to me, it's a loophole. Now, I've talked to Greg Gabriel about it, and Greg says until we get to March and the NFL actually assigns those compensatory picks, no one knows 100% because it comes down to what was in Ian Cunningham's contract. But everyone is reporting we're not getting those picks. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope, but it really seems like we're not getting those picks, and the NFL is finding a way to screw us here. And it honestly sucks because those are valuable picks that a lot of the fans have waited a couple years for. We thought they were inevitable because Ian Cunningham is a guy we all knew was going to get a GM job, and now he takes one, and we're not getting the picks. And it's just, to me, it's stupid, and I hate that too, man. I hate it.
I agree because every team has a president above the GM.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the Falcons hired a team president, which is like our Kevin Warren. They didn't hire a president to be the top football. The president will oversee the organization. So tell me which team is going to lose a president or somebody to go and be. It hardly ever happens. So someone would have to, in order for the Bears to get compensation, Ian Cunningham would have had to have been hired as a president of a team. That's just not going to happen. Danikin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's stupid. I think it's like you said, it's a loophole that needs to be closed and tightened up pretty quickly. But I'd hate to be the team that's the team that gets this loophole closed up, but we still don't benefit from it. So, anytime you have this situation, like you said, it's a mockery of the whole program and how things are supposed to go. The Rooney Rule, all of that stuff is, needs to be called into question. I think that's ridiculous anyway. The Rooney Rule has always been something that's irritated me, quite frankly, but you have to have it, unfortunately. But it still irritates me because it's a mockery a lot of times. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, bring the guy in, let's, and a mere formality, and you walk out the door and that's it. You know what I mean? Type of situation. So, but yeah, I mean, I think we should be able to get those compensatory picks. And if we don't, then I'm going to be a little bit upset about it because I've seen other teams that are able to benefit from that situation.
I mean, the whole point of the process, the Rooney Rule, is to bring up minority candidates and allow them to get promoted to better jobs, which is exactly what they did here. And like Danikin, I think it's been stupid, and a lot of teams have made a mockery of it, that they'll bring in candidates to interview when they have no realistic shot of hiring them. And to me, that's just, it's not doing good for anybody. But when a team actually follows the process here and does everything right, and he was the only minority candidate hired for GM or head coaching job in the entire NFL this year. Not a single,
not a coach,
unless you count Robert Saleh.
Robert Saleh. Okay, I didn't forget about him.
Those are the only two in the entire league, and the 49ers are getting minority picks for Robert Saleh for the second time. The second time.
Yeah.
And the Bears aren't going to get any. To me, that's just pure stupidity. And I really hope, if we don't get the picks, and when I actually hear, because so far we haven't heard from the NFL and we haven't heard from Ryan Poles. And those are the people that know 100%. Right now we've heard from the media, and it's always possible the media had a bad source and someone told him something wrong, and maybe we do get the picks, because everyone was saying we weren't getting the picks before Ian Cunningham signed his contract. And basically what I know, what I was told, is it comes down to what was in Ian Cunningham's contract. And if it says that he has control of the 53-man roster and he has the final roster decisions, then we should end up getting the picks. Courtney Cronin did say after that came out, Greg Gabriel talked to her, and she went back, and apparently an NFL source told her, no, there's no chance we're getting those picks. That's the last I've heard on it, and I'm gonna be so pissed off if we don't get those picks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, because it's like fourth round picks. Those are valuable picks.
Yep.
Big time, man. That's how you fill your roster out.
Yep.
Third and fourth rounders, they fill out the roster, man.
Yep. While we're talking about mockeries, how can the winningest coach in NFL history not be a first round ballot Hall of Famer? Anybody?
Ridiculous. I honestly don't know, man.
We didn't get your thoughts on it last week, Danikin, so I had to throw it up there.
I mean, you got a situation where you've got some animosity.
Yeah, it's made the Hall of Fame look ridiculous.
Yeah. They got it's a somebody's not happy with Bill Belichick. They don't like the way he treated them or something. You know what I mean? Several people, maybe 12 or however many there are.
I mean, it's an inevitability that he'll reach the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, he will at some point, but you wonder when that's going to be at this point. So him and Robert Kraft didn't make it either. So no happy ending there.
Got Zim here.
What's up, Zim?
Yeah.
What's up, Zim?
Good evening, fellas. Apologies for my tardiness.
That's all right,
I think we were all a little bit late, man, so don't worry about it. We just got here. We were a little less late than you, so it's okay.
That's it.
When it comes to Belichick, I got to say, the only viable excuse I've heard so far there's 50 voters, and it took 40 to get in. So at least 10 guys didn't vote for him, right?
Yeah.
The only valid excuse I heard was someone
11.
said maybe 11 people didn't vote for him. Someone said maybe there were some voters that thought, because you only get to pick, I don't remember if it's 3 or 5, but they only get to choose a limited number of candidates to get in, right? And people might have thought, well, everyone's going to vote for Belichick, so I can leave him off and he still gets in. That's the only valid reason to not include him. But it's ridiculous to me. If Bill Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, who is, especially when it comes to coaches in the NFL? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's goofy. It's goofy too, because once again, if you're voting that way, you don't deserve to be a voter, in my opinion. You should vote, and it should be unbiased. There shouldn't be any stipulations on it. You shouldn't say, well, I think everybody is going to vote for him, of course, so I'll leave him off mine. That's stupid. You vote for who's on there, who's most qualified, who deserves to be there, and you move forward. And at the end of the day, what he accomplished on the football field, what his team was able to do, the longevity that he had in that spot, 17, 18 division titles or something like that, something ridiculous like that. Like, come on, put the guy in there. You know what I mean? Revote. That's what I would say. I would be like, no, revote until you get it right. You know what I mean? Go back into the war room or whatever you want to call it, like a courtroom or case or whatever, and hey, y'all get back in there and make sure he gets in there. Be honest.
I think, Zim, are you going to break some news here?
It's not really breaking, but as of 30 minutes ago, the Bears have a new running backs coach.
I actually hadn't seen. I just saw it now from Brad Biggs.
Per Brad Biggs, the Bears have hired Eric Stootsville as running backs coach.
Okay.
Second stint with the team. He worked with a lot of good running backs over the years. He comes from Miami. Ben Johnson worked with him for 2 seasons in Miami. So there we have it. Bears have a new running backs coach with Eric Bieniemy leaving for Kansas City to go back and be their OC once again.
Right. And while we're talking about the Chiefs filling their OC, their last OC goes to the Giants and his former, the Andy Reid tree, John Harbaugh. Thoughts on Nagy with the Giants?
I feel bad for Jackson Dart.
You wonder what's going to happen. Like, genuinely, you wonder what's going to happen with Cam Scatterbo in that backfield and Ray Davis Jr.
Boy.
Is that who the other guy is back there? I can never remember.
Tyrone Tracy.
No, Devin Singletary.
Tyrone Tracy and Devin
Tyrone
Singletary.
Tracy, yeah.
Ray Davis is the other blue team up in
Buffalo Bills. He's on the Bills, yeah.
The other blue New York team, Get them all mixed up.
You wonder if Matt Nagy has learned his lesson. Like, there's people that sometimes you can learn your lesson and so on and so forth, but I don't see him being that guy. I see him being like, okay, this is my opportunity to show everybody that I was still right type situation, right?
Look at Patrick Mahomes' career numbers, and you can see that he hasn't learned. Patrick Mahomes' numbers are very clearly down over the last 4 years. And the only thing that lines up with those 4 years is the hiring of Matt Nagy as his offensive coordinator. Yep. I mean, and look at the Chiefs running.
But it's also lack of weapons, though. You can't just say it's only on him. It's also a lack of weapons.
He's got Travis Kelce.
That's fine, but Travis Kelce is now 35, 36 years old.
I get
He's
that.
much older. And then you had a Tyreek Hill, you had Mecole Hardman and things like that. It's a precipitous drop off, right? They don't have a running game either. Kareem Hunt is way past his prime at this point.
Well, they don't have a running game.
You got to factor all of that stuff
into
into it as well, though. It's not just Matt Nagy, is what I'm saying.
It's not exclusively that by any means, but how can a guy, 2 guys, 3 guys, as productive as Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire all become irrelevant in the span of 3 years? I mean, I get Kareem Hunt, went to a different team, had legal troubles, his stuff off the field, and that does play an effect on some of these guys. And he approached that running back cliff of 30 in the meantime of all that. Right. But the other 2 guys, I mean, Pacheco was very productive in their first Super Bowl run that he was a part of with them. Clyde Edwards-Helaire set some rookie records on the Chiefs, and for them just to kind of say, well, that was nice, we're not going to do that anymore, though. It's very similar to what Nagy did in Chicago.
What was Nagy's role in KC though? That's got to be the big question because he
Right.
wasn't calling
Right.
plays. It's kind of like Declan Doyle was in Chicago. He's doing what Ben Johnson told him to. I do think Nagy had more responsibilities there than a guy like Declan Doyle did, and you saw it that offense has fallen off. But I hold him more accountable to what he did in Chicago. His
Absolutely.
lack
Yep.
of accountability as a head coach, him not being able to develop any players. He was brought here to develop Mitch Trubisky, and
Yep, didn't do it.
he honestly ruined Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
And what he did as a head coach was just terrible to me. I thought Nagy was awful as a head coach, and his play calling has always been he thinks he's smarter than everybody, and he's not. So
Yep.
now he's going to go up there and get a chance to call plays. I like John Harbaugh. I'm curious how this is going to work out. Obviously, if he does have success, maybe he will get another head coaching job. But has he learned from his mistakes?
That's the question.
I don't know. It'd be tough for me as a
Reed called
Giants.
plays, right? Andy Reid was
He
the
did.
play caller.
Yeah, I couldn't get excited about it if I was a Giants fan. That's all I'd say.
Yeah, neither
No.
could I. I'm afraid Cam Scatabo will go the way of Jordan Howard, and Jordan Howard was done dirty by Matt Nagy. Man,
He was.
I was a big Jordan Howard fan. I know he that kid, man. In one game against the Ravens,
Yeah.
man, an overtime, man, the kid gave it everything. He was playing with like a separated shoulder. You could see he would turn to take a hit.
Mhm.
You know, turn his bad shoulder away to take that. I mean, that's guts, man. That's what being a Chicago Bear, you know, is a part of what being a Chicago Bear is all about. But yeah, I like Jordan Howard, man. And Nagy ran him out of town for David Montgomery.
And he did not, the thing about Howard, he did nothing after he left Chicago though.
Yeah. Yep.
No, he had
No, I
half a
thought
good season
he
in
did.
Philly, and that was
Yeah, he
about
played
it.
pretty decent in Philly, didn't he?
He had 1 year where he had like 400 yards, I think.
Yeah.
and
No.
a couple years later. But I mean, 400 yards as a running back isn't very much, you know.
Now, the cool part for Nagy, like, if you want to root for the guy, because let's be real, he was a pretty cool guy in Chicago. If you want to root for him as the guy, he gets to learn now under John Harbaugh after learning under Andy Reid, like two of the best coaches maybe in the league right now,
Yep.
or at least two of the most praised coaches in the league at the very least, guys that are very well
respected. Yeah.
That's
Right.
it. So he gets a
100%.
lot of opportunity there to, you know, really pick the brain, to really set himself away from Andy Reid, even though, you know, he's still off the Reid tree here, but it gives him an opportunity to potentially get that next head coaching job by separating himself from the Chiefs. And if he can find success with a young quarterback and a young running back and a young offensive line and a half-built defense, if he can find some form of success and win some games there, this might be the launch pad he needs to find another job in the league. Because clearly the interest, you know, is there still if he's getting these interviews. He's just coming up short either in the interview process or on the resume. And
I just find it hard. I just find it hard to want to give this dude another shot. I mean, we saw what he did in Chicago. It was destruction. It was destroying a squad. It was destroying a team. It was destroying careers. That's what he did. And I look around the league and I think there's so many other qualified coaches that don't get opportunities. And here we go giving Matt Nagy an opportunity. And I'm like, for what? What has he done to deserve that? You know what I mean?
He almost got Justin Fields killed. He ruined Mitch Trubisky's career.
Exactly.
I mean,
he was trying to, you know, he was putting people, the job of a coach is to motivate guys and then to put them in positions to succeed. He never did that. He never put his players in position to succeed. And then not only that, but he also tried to accept credit for things that he didn't do, which I didn't like. And he had a lack of accountability to his falls and the things that he did wrong too. So from top to bottom, when you're looking at a coach or you're evaluating a coach, it was just negative. Everything was. I saw no positive things from him. The locker room scene in 2018 was cool. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? That's the highlight of his Bears tenure as coach.
I did want to counter that comment you just put up. I think it was from Bearski.
Yeah.
I lost it. But there was a big difference here about between Nagy and Eberflus. Nagy was coaching a team that went all in, traded for Khalil Mack, signed Robert Quinn. We had some big players on that defense. That was a team that was built to win, at least defensively. Whereas Eberflus was coaching a team where our wide receiver room was Equanimous St. Brown, Byron Pringle, and Bayless Jones Jr. Our offensive line.
And don't forget Demir Bird.
We didn't have a single offensive lineman on that team that is starting anywhere in the NFL now, just a couple years later. So that team was built to tank, and Eberflus was brought in to kind of change the culture. So I'm not an Eberflus fan by any means, but comparing his win-loss record to Nagy's really isn't that fair when you look at the talent that was on the roster. So I do think that's a point that has to be made.
That's true. Matt Eberflus was the John Fox to Ben Johnson that John Fox was to Nagy. Matt Nagy, my problem was that he never really seemed genuine with his players. You know, he seemed kind of like a phony. I'm going to get you going, I promise. And never saw a pass play he didn't like. He just unable to stick to the run game. And Ben Johnson, you know, look, he had his moments when he couldn't stick to the run game. Like the Rams game, we couldn't run the ball, so I get it. We couldn't run the ball against the Rams. But the not kicking the field goal in the first quarter, 0-0. That's something I have a little bone to pick there. But
do y'all remember the game where Matt Nagy threw? I mean, he called 3 straight wide receiver screens.
Yes.
Oh my god.
First, second, and third down.
Yep.
I was so disgusted.
He was a screen merchant, man. He was, and that was the other thing. We couldn't even block on screens, so it didn't make any sense. If it wasn't for Vic Fangio, I don't think Nagy would have ever had a winning season.
Yeah.
So
no, that 100%. Defense was special. And when I say special, like that's not an exaggeration. Like look up the numbers, look at the way that they performed. The only 2 other teams in history that have performed the way the 2018 Bears did on defense were the 2000 Ravens and the 85 Bears.
Yeah,
special team.
That's what went wrong. We hired the wrong guy as head coach. We should have had Vic Fangio as head coach. Let Matt Nagy come in and be an offensive coordinator and call the plays. We'll see how that works out in New York because we haven't ever really gotten to see what Nagy could do as just a play caller and not having those head coaching responsibilities. Andy Reid has only given him limited opportunities to call plays. And when he was here, he was trying to run the whole team. He was trying to. Now, when Vic Fangio was controlling the defense, it was a little bit different story, but I'm not a fan of Nagy after what he did here, man. I don't know if I could ever root for him. I wish him the best, but I'm never going to root for that guy.
No.
It's valid. I mean, and I remember the criticisms at the time comparing him to Chip Kelly, and I still think that's a pretty accurate comparison. I still think that, you know, if there's an opportunity out there for him, he will get it. I will not be surprised at all to see him end up coaching, who knows, in the next 2 to 3 years, because I mean, these jobs turn over faster than you can blink these days. Honestly, you know where I could see him play or where I could see him coaching? Minnesota. Watch him be the Vikings head coach in another year or two, because Stefanski's not going to last very long anymore.
If they move on from
O'Connell, excuse me.
I would love that. I think Kevin O'Connell's a really good coach, but I would love if Minnesota ended up firing him and throwing him under the bus for some reason.
O'Connell's a great coach, but something that, you know, I brought up last week, if you don't win a Super Bowl in your first 5 years coaching a team, you are very unlikely to do it, period, point blank. He's in his 5th season. Like, this was just his 5th season. He will probably not win a Super Bowl with the Vikings. He is more likely to not win a Super Bowl than to win a Super Bowl at this point. And same with LaFleur in Green Bay. Granted, it sounds like they're going to get an extension done, or it was done or
got
something.
An extension, didn't he?
I know there was talks of it. I don't know if it actually pen to paper happened or not. But regardless, I don't think either of those guys are there within the next 3 to 5 years.
I would actually be happy about that, because right now I believe, especially with Tomlin and John Harbaugh leaving the AFC North, I believe we have the best coach division in all of football. Yeah, all 4 of these coaches are guys that I would be happy with if they were our head coach, and I think it's actually possible we got the best one. So,
I would go so far as to say that Ben Johnson is probably the only one still coaching the team that he's coaching in the same capacity in the next 3 or 4 years.
Ooh, I don't know about that. That'd be tough. There's too many good coaches here that Man, it'd be tough, but I would be happy about it because if they move on, any of those three, Matt LaFleur, I think, is the class of those three. I think Kevin O'Connell's another great offensive mind, and then Dan Campbell is just a motivator. He's a guy who's going to get his players to play hard. If they move on from those guys, it's going to be very hard for him to find someone who's more qualified.
I completely agree.
He's NFC Mike Vrabel.
Yes,
Dan Campbell.
Yes. The thing is, and this is my take on it, and this is why I believe this way. You know, Kevin O'Connell, like I just said, he's already in his 5th year. They just scapegoated Kwesi for this whole JJ Darnold debacle. The scapegoat's gone. Yep. If something happens at this point, it's his ass on the line and nobody else's. All right.
I mean, they took JJ McCarthy in that special quarterback class, right? Everyone else that got a quarterback that year has turned out good. They took JJ over Bo Nix. But on top of that, they have let Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, and Sam Darnold walk out the door.
They've all turned into pretty good. Well, Kirk, not so much, but the other two have turned into pretty good players elsewhere. You know, Kirk, maybe they were actually right on that one.
Yeah, well, Kirk, he's still. He didn't really get a chance to play. They put him behind. I think Kirk could still. He's still Kirk Cousins. He'd be the same average quarterback, but he'd be better than what JJ McCarthy gave him this year.
But I mean, Dan Campbell, I think he was already pulling more out of that team than what was actually on the roster. So if they go through a bad spell, it's the history of Detroit. They'll move on quickly if it happens. And lastly, I mean, Matt LaFleur, while he's probably the best coach out there right now, he coaches in Entitled Town USA. You know, they believe that they deserve better than him because he's not giving them what they deserve right now. And
man, I see Packers fans hating on him every day on Twitter. It's crazy.
And that's what's going to get him fired in the end.
He's been such a good coach, you know, just season after season winning records. His brother just got the head coaching job in, was it Las Vegas or Arizona? Arizona, okay. So Arizona, Mike LaFleur was the Rams offensive coordinator last season, I think. And he'll be coaching the Cardinals.
Did not call plays, though.
Did not call plays, right? Sean McVay. Also, the LaFleur brothers apparently learned football from NCAA games, Electronic Arts NCAA football video games. Is that true? That's what I heard.
That's what he said. They said that in an interview. They said they learned football playing NCAA football. Yeah.
I guess I believe the same resume as them then. And the same amount of Super Bowls too. So you know.
Hey, if the Packers do move on from LaFleur, hey,
is the Raiders job still open for you, Zim?
I don't know, but hang on.
Start updating that resume.
No, I got it right here. There's my resume, boys.
There you go.
That's the original.
Mail that to Al Davis's kids, Zim. All right, we got Fitz here.
Oh snap! Fitz in the building. What's up, Fitz?
What are these layouts? I don't know what this layouts is here. I'm trying to figure it out.
He's trying to find out where we go.
Yeah, Aldo used to have one where there's like a one in the middle. I don't know. All right, Fitzy.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well, man.
Doing well. You were over in my old stomping grounds.
You've got a lot of those.
Yes, I get around. Why don't we do a little Fitz food review real quick? Let me get my screen. I got to share my screen. This one. Yep. All right. So I'm going to share this. All right. Is that showing up there?
There it is. Yep.
All right. Here we go.
Stuffed pizza from Fredo's Culinary Kitchen. Fredo's Culinary Kitchen at 628 South Roselle Road in Schaumburg, Illinois, has been serving up a wide variety of classic street food with their own unique twist for 50 years. I tried their famous stuffed crust pizza. You won't wonder where the cheese is on this pie. Everything is packed with pure cheesy deliciousness along with a tasty sauce and perfect crust. Speaking of cheese, try their gigantic mozzarella sticks. Crispy outside and ooey gooey cheesy on the inside.
And He's
save
making me
some
so
room
hungry.
and for dessert for some of their famous brownies. And don't forget to fill your cup up with some RC Cola on tap. Fredo's food lineup is all-star caliber and gets a 328 on the Fitzometer. That's Fredo's Culinary Kitchen at 628 South Roselle Road in Schaumburg, Illinois. Where should I eat next? Comment in the replies, #FitzMagicEats, and check out all of my reviews on my YouTube channel at FitzMagicShy.
All right, man.
Sir.
Man, why did I not know Fitz had a food review YouTube? I love that, man. That looks so good.
I got 80 videos on there now.
Oh my good. I gotta check it out, man.
Yeah. It's
Definitely.
Magic Shy.
That restaurant, I used to go there a long time. I used to live in Schaumburg.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's different now. I was watching your video. I'm like, man, that's not the way. When I was going there, it was like just kind of a little joint. You go in and get some pizza or a slice. You could get a slice and pop for like $5. I don't know if they still sell by the slice.
Oh yeah. And I saw some people in there that had some, and they were generous slices too.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, life size.
It's an interesting restaurant because if you look on the website, history behind it, I guess during one of the economic slowdowns, not the pandemic, it was before that, they sort of switched over to a different concept. Everything in there is fresh now. Everything's made that day. Dough is made daily. They also have it looks like if I read correctly, a culinary school of their own where they teach up and coming chefs to run their own business. And so it's like they're getting the on the job training without going to some expensive culinary schools. So it's just a really neat thing they got going on there. They've got Korean style pizza, sauce pizzas and all kinds of stuff there. It's like the only drawback to this was that my stomach wasn't big enough to try anything else because just the cheese from the pizza, the stuffed crust, and those mozzarella sticks, that just filled you up. And they have a bigger mozzarella stick. I think it's like on a Thursday or something. It's like a jalapeno one, and it's just gigantic thing. It's like a foot long mozzarella stick. So I wasn't able to try that. I don't think I could have had I been offered either after what I had eaten. So, but I definitely need to go back. So they've got quite the menu. They were flaming burgers there, and they had gyros and hot dogs. So yeah.
But they had RC. Is it like a requirement for them to have RC for you to review the rest?
No, it's not a requirement, but it's highly suggested and very, very welcome on this part. So.
Yeah, Korean food is hot right now. I mean, in Des Moines here, we have they just exploded on the scene. Korean fried chicken wings, Korean corn dogs or whatever the Korean dogs are, and Korean hot pot. I mean, they just sprang up over the last year and a half here in Des Moines with Korean restaurants and stuff. Some are great too. The Korean banchan fried chicken. There's a few around there. There's one in Schaumburg at banchan.
Yeah, Korean chicken is really
so good.
The hot thing right now.
Yeah, right now. All right. I want to get back to.
I do have a quick question for you, Fitz.
Yeah, go ahead.
With baseball season around the corner, how many trips do you plan on making down to the rate this year?
I usually get to about 10 a year.
Okay, I would love a food review from every Sox game you go to this year.
Every Sox game.
Because that is just a personal request, but the food in that stadium is so good.
Yeah.
And without the South Burbs Hitmen on the air anymore, I don't get Vinny and Joe telling me all about it every year. And I gotta know because
I'm hoping to get to the
insane.
I'm hoping to get to their food, preseason. Where they announce all their new food stuff. I was there 2 years ago. I wasn't able to make it last year, but I'm hoping to get to that one this year. But yeah, I'll do that for you.
Joe went to that a few years ago too, and it was insane. The options there are just ridiculous. I love the creativity of the ballpark food. I mean, the Sox might not do a whole lot right, but the stadium food might be the best in baseball.
They do an excellent job. And the thing is, I'm glad you put me up to that because I'll go and I'll just get the hot dog or the Polish and be happy. and not
you
really
can do
venture.
that one trip. But,
Yeah.
but 10 videos about hot dogs and Polish at the rate will get kind of boring.
Their hamburger, the Comiskey burger, it's with Merck's cheddar cheese and pico de gallo on it. It's fantastic. I love it.
You had me at Merck's cheese.
Yeah, right.
Cheese.
And I was either last year or the year before, they had like birria nachos that just looked
Oh my God, guys, you gotta stop. I'm gonna leave and go get food right now.
They didn't warn you about this when I
Come on. You gotta come to this show well fed.
Yeah, you should have known this, man, before, you know.
Now, it is Super Bowl week. I know the Bears aren't playing in it, and I'm sorry about that. And but it's Super Bowl week. You know, the Patriots get there beating a backup quarterback in Denver. The Seahawks, Sam Darnold making it there. We would have had a nice game against the Seahawks had we won that game against the Rams. But any thoughts on the game? Like, at least give us your pick or who you think will win the game. I'll start with Swifty.
Man, I got to go with the Seahawks with how they're playing. Drake May is, as far as his performance in the Super Bowl, I am a Drake May fan. I'm not one of the people hating on Drake May. I had him rated higher than Jaden Daniels a couple years ago. But when it comes to his performance in the playoffs, he's turned the ball over more than any quarterback that's ever made it to the Super Bowl in NFL history. So he's given defenses more opportunities. And when you look at how that Seahawks defense has been playing, it's no wonder they're a heavy favorite for this one. Yep. And I also believe that, like me and Danikin talked about a little bit earlier, I think we had a chance to beat the Seahawks. I know a lot of Bears fans out there like, we had no chance. Listen, this is a team with Caleb Williams going against Sam Darnold. We could have beat anybody. And if we could have beat that Seahawks team, this is where it would have been crazy. 40 years from the 1985, the last time we won the Super Bowl, and we would have been playing the same team, the Patriots. Man, it was lined up perfectly for us this year. So watching this Super Bowl, it's going to be tough for me to not be thinking about that this could have been ours the whole time. But I got to go with the Seahawks if we're picking who's actually in the game.
Not only that, but it was 19 years ago today, I believe, or 20 years ago today, that the Bears lost to the Super Bowl.
19.
Why you
worst birthday of my life. Thanks for
reminding
me.
It was the first time in Super Bowl history that a Super Bowl has ever begun with a kickoff return touchdown.
I thought it was not only the kickoff return for a touchdown, but then we intercepted Peyton Manning. We had the touchdown, we had interception. I thought we were going to win. I was watching it at it was a bowling alley like bar that had all these TVs in it, and there was one Colts fan in the entire place. We duct taped him to a pole, and we're making fun of him. We thought we were rolling. He was miserable laughing at us the rest of that game when we lost. Man, I hate reliving that one. Only Mike Brown would have played.
Danikin, thoughts on the Super Bowl?
Man, I'm gonna go Seattle as well. I think their defense is too tough. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is playing at an absurdly high level right now. Just a monster on the football field. You know what I mean? Like from the wide receiver position. Nobody can stop him. I mean, it's ridiculous what he's doing. And I also look at the Patriots, and Swifty's right. Those turnovers is not good, of course. But if you look at it, I think they've had the Patriots have had the easiest record, right? Or not easiest record, but the easiest schedule in football.
Yep.
In the last, 26 years or something like that, of a team that made it to the playoffs. Not only that, but they've also had an easy run to the playoffs. Through the playoffs as well, with guys going down injured and things like that. You know what I mean? Like in Denver. And then not only that, but they're only averaging in the playoffs, I think, like 17 points per game right now. So that compared with what Seattle's able to do, I don't think if you can't put 20 points on the board, I don't think you win this game at all. Not at all. Even being competitive, I think it's a blowout. If you can't put up the points, I think Seattle is good enough offensively that they're going to put up, 25 to 35 points easily.
Yep, and stick around Friday. Hopefully, I'll have a Super Bowl show with Sean Higgs and Anthony Iglesias for weekend sports betting tips. We'll have a whole show on best bets for the game. So stick on Friday. Zim, thoughts on the game? I mean, 4.5 points, man. It seems like a big number, but I don't. I mean, I'm not betting against the Seahawks in this game.
No,
4.5 points is a good number for a reason. Personally, I think it should be 6.5 points. I think Seattle has this handedly. Their defense is far superior to New England's offense. Look, New England does have a good defense, but I don't think it's good enough. You know, you've really got to rattle Darnold out there this year. He's had one bad game on the season, and yeah, it was a bad one, but like he bounced back so quickly that like I feel like it didn't phase him. I feel like he's like, okay, I got that one out of my system. We're good to roll now. And he's just been rolling ever since then. And yeah, J2K says it'll be a blowout. Like, I genuinely think this might be one of the most forgettable Super Bowls in the next, 10 years, of the last 5 for sure. I don't know. I don't see this being that interesting of a game. Granted, this has been the most interesting season in years. Like, this has been such an interesting football season. We all forget that Mark Sanchez stabbed a guy the night before he was supposed to cover a game and lost his entire career. That's how crazy this season has been. How does something like that
man too, didn't he?
How does it just go under the rug? Like, and it was that crazy of a season.
What was he supposed to do the Super Bowl?
I don't know what he was supposed to do. Okay. He was supposed to have a job, and he doesn't do that anymore, though. So.
No, he was in town for the game. He was commentating the game or whatnot,
right. Like an Indianapolis game.
Yeah, in Indianapolis, yeah. And went out and got drunk and ended up getting into an altercation with a dude that was old too, like an old man. Like
a 60-some-odd-year-old man who was just trying to back up his truck and do his job.
What are you doing?
But I mean, my point stands that like I don't think this is going to be a super crazy game. I could be totally wrong, but it feels kind of like an underwhelming Super Bowl considering what this season has been. This could have been like Stafford's chance to like cement his legacy. Like even a hater like me would probably like start to concede and waver a little bit if he won the Super Bowl this year. I guess the Sam Darnold redemption arc comes finally like all the way around. I don't know. I'm trying to find the storyline that makes it feel better, but it feels like such a lame Super Bowl.
It'll be Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. I like Tirico. I could do without Chris Collinsworth, to be honest.
I saw that there was a prop bet on whether or not Collinsworth is going to talk about Patrick Mahomes during the Super Bowl.
Yes. How many?
It's like an over under 2.5 or something like that.
You can bet on anything in the Super Bowl, man.
Do you guys think he's gotten over Caleb Williams ghosting him before that Monday night game?
God, no.
I
think Tirico. I think Tirico's in love with him. Like, I think Tirico, after the things that he's seen Caleb do on the football field this season, I think he's in the same camp as Tom Brady, where he's just in love with the guy. So I don't know. It'll be super interesting. Maybe they get in a fist fight, Mahomes versus Williams on air.
That'd be nice. That would spice it up a little bit.
Fitz, thoughts on Super Bowl 60?
I'd like to go against the crowd here, but I just can't. I think Seattle's just on a roll. Like you talk about, the Patriots have very good defense, but I don't think their offense is playing well enough to put up enough points against Seattle's defense. I like the Sam Darnold story. I mean, we talked about earlier this year, when Caleb starts handing out receipts. Well, Sam Darnold's got some receipts he can hand out especially if he wins this.
Sure can.
But I was also thinking, like, the Darnold story is nice. Thinking about these two quarterbacks, and I was thinking about like bad quarterback matchups in Super Bowls past. And I'm thinking the worst one I can think of was 2000 with the Trent Dilfer Ravens against the Kerry Collins Giants. Can we get a worse one than that? But I think Drake May, he's got that potential to be a very good quarterback from here on out. And Darnold's had a great year. So, but you're talking about an exciting season. What about an exciting playoffs? It's the last 4 weeks. I mean, and we get this Super Bowl with these two teams. It does kind of leave a lot to be desired, but I think it'll be a good game. I'm going to say it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes, but I think Seattle wins it.
Yeah, I do too. You look at both teams have good defenses. I think the Seahawks defense is about a little cut above the Patriots.
Can Drake May stay on his feet? I mean, he's been sacked 15 times in 3 games in the playoffs now.
Yep.
So,
not only that, but their offense just doesn't stack up with Seattle's offense. I think, and that's the difference. I would say that the Seattle offense is like a couple cuts above the Patriots offense.
Yeah, even with that one-off in the title game, because, 10-7, that fourth quarter, nobody was really going to score. But it's still the Patriots offense prior to that just hasn't been Super Bowl caliber, if I'm being honest about it. So
yeah, it wasn't a 66-54 game like the Pro Bowl. Was that the score? Something like that, right? 66.
It was crazy,
or something.
And the Bears are still picking off Shedeur Sanders.
The 4 Bears players, a little candid shot from the Pro Bowl. Happy for the 4 players. I mean, there were times when we weren't getting anybody in the Pro Bowl,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
should have been 5. Darnell Wright should have been out there.
Yeah. Did anybody watch the Pro Bowl game?
I didn't.
I had it on my TV. I put it on after the Kevin Byard. I saw the Bears tweet out the Kevin Byard pick 6, and I was like, I might as well just put it on the TV. And it was honestly the most redeeming thing that made it fun to watch was Micah Parsons riding around in his wheelchair making jokes. Yeah. He
around like Lieutenant Dan out there.
Field, he was going to rush the passer. He put on flags around his little wheelchair, and the refs wouldn't let him do it. They made him get. I was like, that would probably been the best thing of the night. Why not just let him do it? Like, he's not going to get hurt. He's already hurt.
I'm glad you mentioned Micah Parsons because Packers gave up a hell of a lot to get Micah Parsons, and Packers fans are probably just coming to the realization that they won't have a first-round draft pick for a couple of years. And Swifty, you've been getting a lot of play on Max Crosby and what you have to give up today. And I love this tweet from you.
Has my tweet pop up, right?
I got your tweet. Yep. You make a great point here. Look, we'd all love to have Max Crosby, but giving up multiple first-round picks for a player is almost never worth it. I totally agree. The Bears have done it 3 times. Cutler, Mack, Fields. It resulted in 0 Super Bowls. And then you go on here. Max Crosby's had 8 surgeries. He'll be 29 years old. We'd love to have him, but not for 2 first-round picks. Gotta agree. Any further thoughts on the Bears making a big splash in free agency?
I think I said it all there, man. I would prefer you keep the draft picks, you keep building to this foundation, and if you want to make a big splash for a pass rusher, sign Trey Hendrickson. You can't tell me Max Crosby might be a better player, but you can't tell me that Max Crosby is better than Trey Hendrickson and 2 first-round picks and potentially more, because according to the Jake Glazer report today, he said they want more for Trey Hendrickson than the Packers traded for Micah Parsons. And at that point, I want absolutely nothing to do with it. That's my thought on it.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, man. You know what I mean? You think about it, and just the fact that he's 29, I think says a lot. You know what I mean? And while guys can play to 34, 35, especially along the defensive line if they're dominant out there, it's still just not worth it in my opinion. I mean, we looked at Khalil Mack, and when we got him, what was he, 27, about to be 28?
Yep.
And then in about 2 years' time, everybody was like, well, maybe we can't let him go because, you know, it's a drop-off of, you know, not his talent or anything like that, but there's a drop-off because of age and nutrition. So, you know, at the end of the day, guys just have to we have to continue building through the draft. I think the Bears have done a really, really good job of that. You can't solve all your issues in one offseason, so they've taken it step by step, and I think that's what they should continue to do. Yeah, you got that up there. The you know, Common Unguy, Colston Loveland, Luther Burden. I mean, 3 rookies that were major contributors to this team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his draft was an A.
His draft has been, you know, and a lot of people at the beginning of the season, that's the thing that throws everything off. At the beginning of the season, you had a lot of people that were talking about, oh, he hadn't drafted a Pro Bowler. He's terrible draft picks and stuff like that. And it's like, no, you look at it now and it's a whole different narrative that's being spun out there, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes we just have to be patient, let the guys do their jobs. Obviously, he's doing a pretty decent job at it because we're getting good players that are contributors. Whether you like Jaquan Brisker or Kyler Gordon or not, they're key contributors. And look at how he played in his last game. You know, Jaquan Brisker, it was out of his mind.
Might have been his best game as a Bear, Danikin.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
yeah, he was balling.
His draft picks have been good. You know, Darnell Wright, Caleb Williams, of course. You know what I mean? But these are major contributors that the Bears have gotten from draft picks. Their major contributors are not signed players. They're not traded for players. Look at it. Look at the roster. Name the signed player. I mean, except for like Joe Tooney or something like that. But those, you know what I mean? And I get that, but I'm talking about, you know, in the sexy positions on the football field. You know what I mean? The weapons on the football field, the guys who get after the quarterback. Those guys, you're not, you know, even though we have Montez Sweat, there's a lot to be desired right there, right? You know, and I understand Montez Sweat for who he is, so I'm not banging on him, right? I've always known that Montez Sweat is a guy that's going to get you 8 to 10 sacks. He's not going to get you 15. He's not going to be Khalil Mack. He's not going to be Aaron Donald. He's not going to be that dominant of a player, but he's going to be a solid player. He's going to play decent against the run. And he'll get you 8 to 10 sacks every single year. But Bears fans are looking at it and they're comparing it to other guys who are above and beyond him on that level, and they're not happy with it. So, you know, you have to get another piece in there. I agree with that. But I say do it through the draft, man. The draft is the way to go, in my opinion.
Yep, had a pretty good season.
10 sacks. You see?
There you go.
There you go.
I agree. I would not be upset if they didn't get Hendrickson or Crosby or any of these guys out there and just focused on getting what they can draft wise. Because, you know, we don't have that cap space we had the last couple of years. So throwing it all into one player, it's a risk. And if it doesn't come through next year, are you setting yourself up for having to not necessarily rebuild, but, you know, shuffle things around a little earlier than what you would think. So I just keep doing what they're doing through the draft. And just don't throw everything into one thing. We've made that mistake too many times in recent years. So just, if you're drafting that well, take the gamble there, you know, so he's been, you know, play your cards there. So.
In my estimation, the fact that Hendrickson has a history with Dennis Allen fits the scheme, has the size. Yes, he's 31 years old. I think he'll be 32 next season. But I think there's still some gas if you could get him, signed for a couple of years where it's really kind of a one year deal, but just for 2 years spread out over
and
2.
You don't give up any draft picks.
You don't give up any draft picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's the thing though, like this is the thing. that's going to be hard to do. I don't think they're going to be able to get him on a 1 to 2 year deal. He's an aging player as well. He's going to want a contract for 5 years probably. Those guys are going to
5-year
No,
contract.
there's no way.
He might get
Well,
a
I
3.
mean,
I don't think he's getting the
No.
5. I mean, I don't see
well,
it.
you know, you look at the Bears. The Bears, there's always an idiot. It just takes one. The Bears gave Robert Quinn 5 years,
Yeah.
and he was past his. He was in his 30s.
Was that Ryan
Right?
Pace though? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it just takes one idiot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it always only takes that's one key point, man. It always only takes one
But
guy.
wasn't so he played 2 years with the Bears.
Yeah.
Robert
The
Quinn?
second year was injury filled, right? He was
No,
injured.
he
his
played
first
3
year,
years. He played 3
second
years.
year, he had the 18
Okay,
and a half
first year.
sack.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I couldn't remember how it reversed. Swifty's off-season needs. And while we're on it, talking edge rusher, I got another Swifty. You've been knocking out of the park with your X game this off-season. I have to agree with you. Defensive tackle is a huge need. You had a lot of Senior Bowl tape up there. Tell us about some of the guys at the Senior Bowl, like Caleb Banks, kind of tore it up. Lee Hunter. I forget.
This
What
is
was
a
the other?
perfect year. If
Yeah,
you
great
need
year.
a defensive tackle, man, I think this is a good year for it. I think it's also a really good year for edge rusher, and that's why
Yep.
I feel like keeping our picks are so important. And
Mhm.
whether or not they want to go out into free agency and get a guy like Trey Hendrickson, that's another story. But you got to keep these picks, and the draft lines up. I've been talking about this class for a couple of years.
It's a
This
great
is one where
draft.
if you
class.
want defensive linemen, this is a perfect class for you. You got all the defensive tackles you could want. There's 8 to
so
9
many.
defensive tackles that could come in here and potentially be better than what we have on the roster right
Yep.
now. Now, there's not a lot of guys who are going to come out and get 8 to 10 sacks. That's not this defensive tackle class, but guys who are going to eat up double teams like Caleb Banks, Lee
Collapse the
Hunter, Caden McDonald. There's a handful of those type of guys. Even when you look at the sleeper picks, when you go to day 2, guys that aren't talked about a lot, like Dominique Orange and Corleone out of
Iowa State.
Cincinnati. Yeah, there's some guys there, and this class, the pass rushers as well. You can get. I want us
Oh,
to
yeah.
double down. I would like to grab a defensive tackle in round 1, and then come back in round 2 or 3 and get an edge rusher as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I
100%.
think in terms of needs, you definitely need an edge rusher and a defensive tackle. I would say edge rusher first, just because I just need to get pressure to the quarterback more than the Bears are able to do, and they're able to manufacture some every now and then. And
Yep.
Sweat had a good season, you know what I mean, 10 sacks and whatnot. But you still just need bodies over there, man. Defensive tackle is definitely up there as well on
Yeah.
that list, and it's a perfect reason why you need these picks, right? Like you said, you can double down, you can get a pick in the first round, come back in the second, third, you can draft them all the way through if you want to, you know what I mean? Whatever the case, and throw all those guys in there, and that's the difference between going for a Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby, and the swing and miss on that is more detrimental. It's more crippling than missing on a draft pick. You know what I'm saying? Because the draft pick is not going to cost you as much money. You're not going to give up as much assets and all of that type of stuff. So that's why I say keep swinging and swinging and swinging in the draft, because you'll get some hits, and you're already getting hits. So we already know that you're decent at drafting. You're very good at drafting. So continue that, man. Stay the course. Stay patient. It's what he started with when he got here. Poe said that he wants to build through
Yep,
the
built
draft.
through the draft. And
Continue it. Don't change it now. You know
free
what I mean?
agency comes
Yep.
first, so that will signing an edge rusher like Trey Hendrickson would obviously change their draft plans.
But they won't.
And whatever we do at safety, we got to do something at safety, because right now we got
I,
nobody.
I
on
would
the
bring
roster.
back Kevin Byard. To
Have
be
to.
honest,
Have to,
The guy
yeah.
was a good locker room and great player. Led the NFL in interceptions. Yes, an older player, but I think
Need some seasoning.
we need
He
some
needs
veteran leadership.
He's
in
the
locker
leader
room.
of this secondary, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So you get him and you draft that safety out of Penn State. That's what I would do.
It's also a
Okay.
good draft for
Jaquan Brisker?
offensive line.
No.
The Ozzie Trapillo injury leaves a hole at left tackle, and while
Yep.
everyone says, well, we just invested a second round pick, but there's no
Who cares?
guarantee that I mean, I would go back and draft another one. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm not leaving myself with a hole at the blind side for your franchise quarterback. There's definitely some players you could get in the second, third, fourth rounds at left tackle that can fill in until Ozzy's back, or if you want a second rounders, man. I don't know if they'll be second rounders by the time the draft rolls around, but some of those guys at Utah and Oregon tackle, they're guys that could play or start.
Everyone's saying that, but when you think about the left tackle position, look at rookie left tackles, and they have a history of struggling.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about
True.
look at the Minnesota, not the guy out of Minnesota this year, Ariante Ursary, right?
Yep.
Guy who went in that range. It was a top 40
Where did he go? Houston?
Yeah, everyone thought he did good. He started all 17 games, right? He gave up more sacks this year and more pressures and more penalties than Braxton Jones had in any one of his 3 years as a starter.
Are you saying we should re-sign Braxton?
I would say don't rule it out. If you want a guy, you want a Band-Aid, Braxton Jones is a guy who needs to reestablish his value before free agency. People hate on him a little bit too much. Braxton is better than people give him credit for. You can fill that hole instead of using a first or second round pick on a guy who's not guaranteed to be ready to start early in the career anyway. Rookie tackles struggle. Even studs like Penei Sewell struggle their rookie season. Look at Darnell Wright's rookie season. Finding drafting a tackle high just for half a season, unless Ozzy Trapillo isn't going to come back 100%.
We'll know.
I think it's tough.
We'll know before the draft.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ozzy, he played pretty damn good. He's had his struggles as well, but he
not
really
ready
played,
at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, not ready at the beginning of the season.
Nope.
Exactly.
Now there's only 3 positions on this team that you don't need to address. Like literally. That is quarterback, that is left guard, that is right tackle. Literally every other position on this roster you can upgrade at. And you know how I know? Because those are the quarterback is Caleb Williams, and the other 2 are the only positions you've got.
We're pretty set at
those are the only positions you've got under contract where you have an all-pro player. Other than that, you can upgrade. If they're not an all-pro, you can do better. Now, realistically, are they going to do that? No. But that's the mindset that Poles has gone through this entire process with. Can I upgrade? Then I'm gonna. Otherwise, you don't draft a guy like Colston Loveland. Otherwise, you don't draft a guy like Luther Burden. Otherwise, you don't draft a guy like Darnell Wright. You can go through this entire roster. You don't draft Kyler Gordon. There's no reason they should have drafted Kyler Gordon when they drafted Kyler Gordon, but they did. And now he's the linchpin of this entire defense. If you can upgrade, you should. And it's that simple. That's the mindset that he always has gone into this with. It's a mindset that I don't think enough Bears fans have appreciated, but he's also not going to do it recklessly. And it's something that he's also shown. I think there is a 0.00% chance that they go spend money or make a trade on a big defensive lineman. They already have $100 million invested in their defensive line.
Yep.
There is no reason for that. And in addition to that $100 million, yes, in addition to that $100 million, you have 3 very promising developmental players there in Shamar Turner, Austin Booker, and Jervon Dexter. All right. I get that we want this whole talk. And I'm getting a little worked up about it because, and you'll understand why when I get to the point that I'm about to make. This whole talk that we've had ever since the Bears have been eliminated from the playoffs reminds me of 2019 so much. If we only had a pass rusher, we would have done so much better. If we only had a kicker, we would have done so much better. Shut the fuck up. If you only had a better roster, you would have won the game, right? What are we talking about here? You are back at square one. You are back at 0. You have made no progress to next year's Super Bowl.
I knew it was coming.
You get mad at me all you want for dragging on and on. You have made no progress towards winning a Super Bowl from the beginning of this year to next year. So I say there's so much they can do. There's so much they can do.
I wouldn't rule them out taking a cornerback high if the right
I would love to see
stud was there because we need a lot of speed on defense.
I don't know if I'd love to see that, but I think it would be a prudent move.
we're exposed a little bit, with some of the crossing routes and speedier little wide receivers are the larger cornerbacks that Dennis Allen the length. Well, it's great for turnovers. We were a high turnover differential this season. I think we're 21 or 22 in the plus for turnovers, but speed in the secondary or linebacker definitely needed. But I gotta go here how we can free up some money.
Yeah, there's lots of ways.
Real quick, Zoom. Tooch,
go ahead.
Can I say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
The thing when we're talking about this, we're talking about money, we're talking about draft, we're talking about signing guys. The thing that makes me confident is what Ryan Pohl said a couple weeks ago. What he said a couple weeks ago was, we got to have the tough conversations. We got to have honest conversations, right? What does that tell you? That tells you that he's saying there are going to be some guys that we like, that fans might like, but we got to move on from because we can get better at that spot.
Fans are ready to ship out DJ Moore for a pack of crayons.
No, I'm talking about. I mean, there's, DJ Moore, things like that.
I don't think DJ Moore's going anywhere.
There's some other people that are like, they fall in love, and the fans do. They fall in love with players, and it's like, oh, I need this guy to, blah blah blah, and you can look at guys, and it's like, we can get better. We can get better. Like Kevin Byard, I don't think Kevin Byard is set in stone, even though he had the season that he had.
I want to know what TJ Edwards' contract looks like right now.
TJ, we're stuck with TJ for one more year.
I just wonder if that's one of those guys that might be the hard conversation if you find a trade partner willing to offload the contract.
But TJ's contract is not terrible, though.
It's not.
Go look at it. Like,
it's like $8 or $9 million hit next year.
It is. It is.
But a hometown deal because he loves the Bears.
But if you're restructuring things, and that's just the first guy that jumped to my mind when I think hard conversation. Like, who's a guy that everybody loves that didn't produce enough last year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, objectively speaking,
conversation. As much as you don't want to hear it, it's DJ Moore, man.
I don't see it happening. I really don't. You don't sign him to that extension.
Swifty's restructures here too. I'm telling you.
You don't have to trade him, but you got to restructure him.
Of course. Yeah. That's something we've talked about for a while. Yeah. I think that's inevitable. You're going to convert all that to either a signing bonus or a void year of some kind, and
so
there's a few ways you can
trade him to somebody. I don't think his contract is too expensive.
Yeah.
There's teams that could pay that, man. Especially
his contract is too expensive for his production. Yeah. You won't find somebody unless you're trading him to somebody like Arizona or Cleveland or Las Vegas.
No, I think DJ
I don't know why
it's courtesy of Swifty.
That's the old saying. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face if you do that. It doesn't make any sense. And his contract comes off the books completely at the most crucial time, which is when it's time to pay your quarterback.
No.
No, he got signed for
his contract hasn't started
6
yet.
years.
He's got 4 years and $110 million left on.
Mm-hmm. And you have a free out.
We're going to pay Caleb in 2 years,
and it's a free out when it's time to pay him.
Yeah. So if you want to cut him though and get nothing,
correct, or trade him and get something at that point in time.
Yeah,
I think at that point he's going to have no trade value. I mean,
his cap hit is going to go in the next season, correct? If you cut,
no, he's making $28.5 million a year for the next 4 years, and if you restructure that, you're pushing more down the road and making it even harder to get out.
What if you cut him though?
You can't cut him right now.
Right.
Not right now. You got to wait. I think it's like 2 years. After 2 years, you can probably cut him at that point in time.
He has a escalator, a trigger or something in his contract where like the third day of the league year, like half of his contract becomes guaranteed or something like that.
Of 2027, not even his
of the following year.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is already fully guaranteed.
He's got a lot of protections built into that contract. It's going to be a hard contract to move. That's part of the reason I don't think it happens.
I don't think they do it. I think they let that ride out, and
it's not a bad contract when you consider, to J2K's question here, was it a bad contract? It's not a bad contract.
That's my question too, yeah.
When you consider who he is and what he does for this team. I'll ask you this. Would you rather have I don't know, what are you going to get for him? A third round draft pick at best? Would you rather have a third round draft pick or 2 wins versus the Packers?
Yeah,
The
I
two
want
here's
DJ on the
the
team.
difference though. When Ben Johnson came in and made this his team and he put a stamp on this team, what were the very first two things he did? Took a tight end in the top 10 and drafted DJ's replacement in Luther Burden.
He
When your
didn't
head
mean to
coach
do
does
that.
that,
was a coincidence.
that
I don't think
there's
that
just
was
not enough target of footballs to go around at the end of the day.
that's
that Luther
fine.
Burden pick, that totally screams to me like
Same size.
I'd be
as DJ
stupid
Moore, but
not to
faster.
take this guy, but
You would.
I
But
think
at
that was
time,
just
that makes DJ Moore movable.
it's also
at that point.
clearly not who we wanted, in my opinion.
Let me
It
ask
just
you this:
it
Who would
fell
you
to him,
rather
and it was
have?
too good to pass up.
Would you rather have DJ Moore or Trey Hendrickson in a third-round pick?
At
How
this
are we
point in
getting
their
a- how are we
careers,
getting a
probably
third-round
a
pick?
wash,
Oh.
honestly.
From
I
Trey
would rather
DB?
have Trey in a 3rd-round pick.
I genuinely, it's
but
a
I don't think
complete
we're
wash
getting
to
a
me.
3rd-round pick for DJ Moore.
I think someone would give you a third. At the
so
worst, a fourth.
Let me a 4th is more like it. Let me ask you a question regarding DJ Moore. It was his first year in Ben Johnson's offense, and there were at times where it didn't look like he was running the right route or in the right place or concussed in the last game, Danikin. But do you see? And I'll ask Fitz. Do you see DJ Moore taking a step to bigger production than 50 catches and 650 yards in his 2nd year in Ben Johnson's offense?
That's a lot. I think because we've already talked about there's only one ball to go around all these guys. I don't think you're going to have somebody that has that, 1,500 yards or whatever. We had the 3rd best offense and no one above 750 yards.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable if you ask me. They're spread it around. That's why I don't think Luther Burden was necessarily a replacement for DJ Moore. It's just an addition to this offense. I mean, maybe in a couple of years when DJ's gone, but I mean, like right now, Ben's just adding more and more. Let's get another tight end because we're going to have 3 of them, maybe 4 tight ends. Let's get all these wide receivers. He's just throwing things on top of it.
See, when they drafted Burden, I thought it initially would come out. That's, DJ. He's DJ Moore, but better.
And maybe, but I just think like right now for the next couple of years, he's just throwing weapon after weapon after weapon, as opposed to like finding somebody's replacement. If we've got this high-powered offense and we've everybody's got 700 yards between them. I mean, DJ's not going to have 50 receptions and a gazillion yards, and it's going to be okay. The team's going to be fine.
Yeah, but
And
let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this question. If you have a wide receiver and he puts up 1,400 yards, right? You got to pay him 1,400 yards money, right?
Yeah, which is what
you're talking about. No, I mean, if you're looking at you look at Jamar Chase, he's getting $40 million a year. DJ Moore's getting 27. So you know what I'm saying? 27. I'm looking at it. It's 27 point.
I think his cap number's 28.5
is his cap.
28.5. Okay. All right. So you know what I mean? You're jumping up to 40 million, 40.5 million. And if you got a guy that's getting 1,400 yards. Now think about it like this. If for the next 2 years, like Fitz said, this team is spreading the ball out so much. Caleb's learning at an advanced pace because he's able to pick the right receiver to throw the ball to, make guys better, so on and so forth. That's where you want him to get. And then when it's time to pay him, you may have another time to pay another guy. Now Luther Burden comes up for a contract, and if he's only getting 700 yards, if he's only getting 800 yards, you're getting him for a deal now. You see what I'm saying? You're extending these guys for deals instead of, having a guy with 1,500 yards and you got to play him like Jamar Chase.
Will guys take less money, or would they want to go to a place, or would that make them want to leave and go to a place where they're going to get more targets?
But nobody's going to, and that's fine. If that happens, then that happens. That's the risk you run. But at the same time, the NFL is going to pay you based off of your production. That's what they do.
And that's why I got to bounce for just a few minutes. I'll come back later in the show though. But final point here with DJ, can you replace him if you bring in a guy, say you bring in another cheap receiver, a Rashid Shaheed from the Seahawks, who could be a kick returner and a third or
I threw
fourth
out
receiver.
Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants.
Wan'Dale Robinson. There's tons of options you could
Same
do, and
production,
you still
cheaper.
have Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, and the guy everyone's forgetting about, Jade Walker. More targets for all of them, and you save $28.5 million. I just think the writing's on the wall. I love DJ. I'm a fan, but the NFL is a business, and you're not going
to save that full 28.5 though. You're not going to save this. Some of that you're going to
probably have to pay some of his.
But that's the thing. If you restructure that and you push it down the line,
then trade it,
that means it makes him less likely to get rid of him in 2 years. But I think the writing's on the wall with DJ, unless he restructures his contract and takes less money. But I think DJ also wants to go somewhere where he can be a number one guy. He wants to be a guy where he can be a number one target in the offense. He's good enough for that. There's a lot of teams that don't have Luther Burdens and Colston Lovelands and Romo Dunzes sitting there waiting in the wings.
Yep.
So that's my thoughts on him. But I'd love to see DJ stay and us have unlimited amount of weapons. But at some point they gotta spread that around. They gotta spread that money around. I'll come back in just
Swifty.
a little bit, guys. I got to take care of something.
Thanks for your time, buddy. Great job.
I appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Good luck. All right, my man.
Just a real quick question. Outside of Micah Parsons, do you think that the Bears and the Packers have like similar defensive lines? Would you say the Packers still have the edge even without Micah Parsons?
Without him? I don't.
I mean, a slight edge.
Yeah.
Okay. So over the course of the season, would you like to know how many more team sacks the Packers had than the Bears this year?
It wasn't much, I don't think, right?
It was 1.
Yeah.
I am not willing to give up DJ Moore for 1 more sack on the year, which is effectively what it turns out to be. Would you think that, I don't know, Dallas has a better defensive line than the Bears?
No.
Without Micah, probably not. How about Cincinnati, the guy that we're all so keen on trading for? Their overall defensive line?
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either. Numerically, we're all in agreement.
He missed half the year, though, Hendrickson.
He missed. Yeah, that's fair.
I think he only
how
played
about the New England
8
Patriots, the
games?
AFC representative for the Super Bowl? Do they have a better defensive line than the Bears?
I would say yes.
Well, because their sack number is exactly the same as the Bears.
Well, okay.
From the D line.
This is what I was going to.
And you make good points, though, Zim. But go ahead.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Poles has built this already. We are no longer building this. We are supplementing this. You're not one player away. It's so asinine to me that we're going through this again when we did this with the whole kicking competition thing in 2019. And again, I go back to it, but it feels so reminiscent of it from the fan base that it's like we don't know what else to talk about. We're not used to this team being good and having success, so we just default to what we've done for years.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans they soon as a guy gets drafted, it's like, all right, well, let's trade him. You know what I mean? And I'm of the mindset where it's like, nah, I need all the weapons we can have. You know what I mean? I want all the weapons. I want everything at Caleb's disposal so that he can become and grow into the quarterback that we think he can be. Without those players, I don't believe he's able to do the things that he's able to do. We've seen it with other quarterbacks and things like that. When you're in a good situation, it helps you. Sam Darnold was terrible with the Jets. Why? Because he was in a terrible organization and situation. Now he goes somewhere else, and all of a sudden he's able to play. No, these guys all know how to play the game of football, but a lot of times it's the situation, it's coaches believing in you that really makes these guys play better and become the players that they could be.
Ben Johnson called plays to benefit the strengths of his players, which is not what Matt Nagy did. He tried to fit the players into his scheme. Go ahead, Fitz. I know you wanted to say something about DJ and the pass rush.
Well, I was just saying, big sack numbers are sexy and you love them, but I mean, how many sacks did Robert Quinn have, and how good was that team? Yeah, I mean, so I would love to have those big sack numbers, but I think we can improve the defense maybe by getting, somebody on the interior.
How many Super Bowls did JJ Watt win?
Yeah, I just think there's other ways to improve the defense. We all know we need some sort of a pass rush, some sort of pressure on the quarterback. But there's other ways I think we can do it. Having a good run defense would be one too. But yeah, that's all I would say. I don't think I just don't think throwing everything at a player right now, one player would not only just improve the team necessarily for next year, but again, we want sustained success, and I think that could harm it. So
and defensive line, edge rushers, it's about being more than a one-trick pony. Robert Quinn, one-trick pony, terrible against the run, horrible against the run. Right,
exactly what.
So
Fitz
one-trick pony.
It looks sexy. The stats.
Exactly. The stat looks good.
Yeah, Montez
but here's the other thing:
and
is
the
like
pass.
you could have a guy that has 8 sacks, but he had a ton of pressures, and he created havoc back there, and he forced the quarterback into making errant throws or wild throws into double coverage that get interceptions.
And that's what
those are things that we have to pay attention to too.
Yep.
Not just the sack total, but pressures.
Yep.
Yeah.
We need
being
that.
able to force guys into bad situations. Those are all part of the defense. Being able to play well against the run. Are you a liability when we know you're in the game? We're going to run directly at you because we know you can't set the edge. You know what I mean? Those are the things that we have to also think about as fans, not just how many sacks the guy got.
I can't get past the feeling that the Bears look at their defensive line different than the fans for sure, because
100%.
They're looking at Deo and Austin Booker as the future, and may not.
What Dio did the first 3 weeks of the season is something we haven't seen a guy in a Chicago Bears uniform do in a while, and that is he made everybody else's job easier. He ate up blocks. He caused pressure. He got around the edge. He might not have gotten home, but he made things easier. He sped up the quarterback. Everybody's acting like this was some terrible signing. And it's like, is it worth the money that they gave him? I genuinely don't know. And I lean towards probably not. But is he doing the job that's asked of him through the first half of the season before he got injured? I lean towards yes. He is doing what was expected of him. He was being the player he was brought to Chicago to be. And he again, was making other people's jobs easier. We were starting to see Shamar Turner sort of break out a little bit before he tore his Achilles. And it was because he was playing next to Dio Odangbo.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's
Dio also doesn't play a pass rush position. And that's something that we got to get out of our heads.
Yeah, and we will have Grady Jarrett back next year, whether we want him or not. It's just the contract is he's here next year.
Yeah,
he started to play a little bit better at the end of the year. First part of the season, he was just like invisible. Got a liability against the run. He must not have been healthy because when he got healthy, he played the run and passed pretty well at the last handful of games. So great to be back. A guy I don't think will be back as Andrew Billings, who I like as a player. It's just I love the hustle. I just think the Bears want to go younger at his spot. And there's, like Swifty said, it's a great draft for defensive tackles, man. You can find guys rounds 1 through 7 at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And I like Andrew too, but he got on my nerves with some of them offsides penalties he had in that game too.
Yes.
That irritated me so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he had 2 of them in that game, didn't he?
He is such a hustler, though, man. He ran down Christian McCaffrey from behind.
He is.
He is. But the pass rush. I get it. There's folks in the chat. We know we need some pass rush too. But like Danikin says, we just need pressures. Really, we don't need sacks. We need guys that can pressure. And
stop the run.
There are good defensive tackles in this draft that are gonna do that. They're gonna collapse the pocket and get like Danikin said, the quarterback to make some mistakes.
I mean, Myles Garrett had the best sack season ever, right? And what did Browns do?
That's
Nothing.
So it's
Miles Garrett made a big stink
They had
about
2
wanting-
all-pro quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah, they had two
Miles
all-pro
Garrett made a big
quarterbacks.
stink about wanting to go win a Super Bowl and then took the money, and he's getting clowned on for an entire year since it happened, despite being the best, possibly the best defensive player in football right now. He's gotten clowned for an entire year for taking the money over the championship. Like, it just goes to show that's not the position that's going to win you the title. It might be the position that helps you win a title, but it's not going to all out win it. My final point on all this, and I'll shut up on it for the rest of the night. But
Fire.
my final point on this is look at the conversation we had the week after Micah Parsons got injured in Denver. We started talking about, does this alter the Green Bay's Super Bowl window?
Yes.
Does this legitimately
They
affect
went
their
for it this year.
franchise plans?
Mhm.
And it does. Like, they gave up 2 first-round picks that they now don't have, and the player they traded them for, they also don't have for another year. This is a franchise-altering injury because of a franchise-altering trade. That is so detrimental. And y'all want to give this up for a dude who's had 8 surgeries? You want to give this up for a guy who's 32 years old? If you're not giving it to the guy who's had 8 surgeries, it's such a heavy investment for a position or an investment that could blow up so quickly. It feels like a crypto smash and grab is what it feels like, where everybody's pumping the crypto coin. We're all pumping Hawk Tua coin right now. We're gonna buy it, and Haley Welch is gonna ghost us all, you know. And that's what just happened to the Packers, and that's the boat that we all want to get in right now.
I could fix her.
With Michael Parsons, I could see them doing the deal because he's so much younger. He's like, what,
He is.
25,
Yeah.
26 years old. So, you know, there's a longevity there that he may be able to. But then again, he got injured this year. And Zim is right. You know, you got a guy that's 29 who's had 8 surgeries. You got another guy who's 32 years old.
Yep.
How long are those guys going to be there, right? If
Yeah,
you're
good
making
question.
a splash to go get them, you're saying we're winning the Super Bowl, and it's Super Bowl or bust at that
Yep.
point in time. Literally. That's
And
what
Green
it
Bay
is,
just
because
busted.
you don't have 3
And
or
I
4
agree,
years with
Danikin.
those guys.
I-
You got
I-
now, exactly right now.
I agree with you. Do you make the move as a window? Do you add players to keep that window, open a little bit, big enough? Keep the window big enough, open enough to make another run. Because
When are guys willing to be traded? When are you wanting to trade guys? Right.
Yeah.
Most of the time, a team is going to trade a guy because either they don't want to pay him, and the reason they don't want to pay him is because his production is not going to match it, or he's getting aged, right? He's aging.
Mhm.
So in most cases, you're gonna go away from those guys, and it's always better in football to get rid of a guy 1 year early than to get rid of him later. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's always right.
oh man,
So we
I'm
don't
glad
want
you
to be.
said that.
Look at what the Bears did when they got
Damn.
what's his name
We're always getting rid of guys 1 year too late.
You just
No,
said
when
it's
we
better to
picked
get
him
rid of
up.
him 1 year early, and damn, doesn't DJ Moore fall into that category? Fuck.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I hate that you
that's
just
the
said
way,
that.
That's the way it is. It's better to though. It's always better. What's his name from Minnesota? We got the edge rusher from Minnesota. He was past his prime.
Jared Allen.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I was so
a guy.
hyped that day.
That's a guy that was past his prime, though. You know what I mean? And
I was driving out to Las Vegas that day. I literally pulled over and ran a mile next to the car. I was so hyped about it.
Khalil Mack, he was cool to get. I felt like that was a good get because he was 27 at the time. It's like, okay, you got 3-4 years with this guy that he could play, but you pick up. I mean, Trey 32, man. Like it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
All right. Well,
Oh man.
we don't know really. Normally it was a lot easier to speculate on what the Bears would do, but this year it seems a lot harder.
I feel like it still is. I feel like
Yeah.
Poles has shown us what he does.
Mhm.
He doesn't overspend in free agency. He doesn't make big blockbuster trades. He doesn't. He might give out large
Fitz is
contracts.
killing the beer there.
I mean,
That's an
RC.
RC. Yeah.
That's an RC. Okay. Yeah, I said he's
I
killing
had
the corner.
caffeine, man. I've been up Work 11 hours.
Yep, I feel that. I feel you there. No, I feel like Poles has already shown us what he does. He might give out big contracts, but he doesn't give out like huge contracts. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He gives out reasonably big contracts to players that are relatively worth it. He doesn't make he might make splashy trades, but he doesn't make blockbuster trades, right? I mean, we're talking Joe Tooney, Coleman Shelton, like Ryan Bates, like these are all guys he's gotten for 4th round picks or later.
Yeah, the Thuney and Jackson contracts and Dahlman contracts, they're not small contracts. I mean,
They're not small,
15 million or higher,
but they're
for all
reasonable.
three of those guys. Yeah.
You got three guys who are probably top 5 at their position for $15 million on the offensive line. That's a position that pays $20 to $23 million for the top players. Those are bargain contracts.
It was great moves.
Right.
The interior offensive line moves that he made this season were excellent.
I wouldn't mind some depth there, though. I mean,
yeah.
Because
I think
Tooney's
they
not
actually
young.
have more depth than we realize. I mean, they've still got Luke Newman there.
Yep.
They've still got
Jordan
McFadden,
Oh,
who
McFadden,
played
Theo Benedek.
just fine.
Well,
Theo
Theo's a
Benedek,
free agent,
he's
though.
a swing tape. Is he? Is he an
Yeah.
RFA? He was
I
an
think he's an RFA.
He was a undrafted free agent, so that would make him an RFA for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
They've still got Karan Amagaji for whatever that's worth. God only knows at this point.
He's really smart.
Yeah.
So they tell us.
Yale.
He's never finished a game to have a post-game interview. So
he's from Hinsdale. Hinsdale Central or Hinsdale South. One of those. He went to high school in Hinsdale.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The point of it all is, like, I just feel like we've seen what Poles is going to do. I feel like this is like, it's not going to be a sexy offseason. It's not going to be some hype. Like, oh my God, did you see what the Bears did?
Yeah.
It's going to be like, oh, cool. Anyway,
I hope so.
Like, that's going to be our offseason, I feel like. And I'm okay with that. Like, the Bears are at a point where that's the offseason they can afford to have. That's the offseason that they should have.
I think they're going to address that defense heavy. I think they're going to address it very, very heavily. And they're going to make some moves on that side of the ball. They're not going to be huge, splashy stuff.
Sure.
Like you said, it's going to be, but I think they'll give way more attention to the defensive side of the ball than they have.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
In the past, the last 2 years.
The Bears coaching staff. I want to kind of switch gears here just a little bit. We already talked about Eric Bieniemy leaving and Eric Studsville coming in to replace him. Declan Doyle leaves to be Jesse Minter's offensive coordinator in Baltimore and coach up Lamar Jackson. The Bears asked to interview Connor Sanger, the passing game coordinator of the Cardinals, who is Drew Petzing was the offensive coordinator last year in Arizona, who's like best friends with Ben Johnson. So it makes sense that he would want to talk to Connor Sanger. I know Kyler Murray didn't have that great of a season in Arizona, but Jacoby Brissett did. Man, he was like throwing for 300 yards on the regular. Now the Packers also interviewed Connor Sanger.
Kyler was doing fine before Black Ops came out. So
yeah, right. But they didn't hire him, and I think he would want to go for. They wanted to hire him for the quarterbacks coach, I think, in Green Bay, Connor Sanger, that is. And with the Bears, he would be an offensive coordinator. Now, would have play calling responsibilities. Declan Doyle left to get play calling responsibilities in Baltimore. Jesse Minter, defensive-minded coach, defensive side of the ball is his expertise. But Declan Doyle was important to Ben Johnson because he did all the day-to-day preparation, so that Ben Johnson could focus on head coaching duties, and that's super important for Ben Johnson to. And that Connor Sanger. Familiar with the Ben Johnson, offense style, philosophy, etc., would fill that Declan Doyle role. So I think Swifty agreed on when he tweeted out that he expects Connor to get the job here. Your guys' thoughts on Declan Doyle leaving? Kind of a loss. Very well thought of around the league, up and coming coach, and what the Bears will do at offensive coordinator.
I think it's good for him. Is what I thought. He's not going into the division, so that's fine.
Mhm.
I think if you're a young offensive thinking coach, the Bears is the perfect job for you.
Yep.
I mean, this is where you want to
You said
go because you're going to learn at the foot of the master. You don't have the play calling duties. You can learn all about that. And then in a year, 2, you can go on and get your job and they'll bring somebody else in. I mean, Doyle came from Denver, so it's not like bringing in somebody from another system or another coach is really going to put the team back anything. He Johnson said he wants a hard worker, a guy who's going to work nights, who's going to work it, put in the long hours, do the grind. And so Doyle leaving, that's great for him. And I'd like to see Singer come in and or whoever they get. I think they're going to make a good choice here. And it's not detrimental either,
Zim, good for Lamar Jackson?
We'll find out. Declan Doyle is highly regarded as one of the bright young offensive minds in the game. Is he younger? No, he's got to be the same age as Lamar Jackson.
He's the same age as Lamar Jackson.
Oh, wow.
God, they're going to hit it off, man.
Yep.
29 years old, both of them. Good for them. Good for them.
Hanging out in the Inner Harbor.
In all honesty, he's going to be a guy I'd probably root for unless he goes to a division rival. Declan Doyle was a guy pegged to be potentially the next Sean McVay. And now we're seeing him go out and the Ben Johnson coaching tree is already starting to form after one season.
Yep. Yeah.
Man, so of course I'm going to root for him. I want to see this Ben Johnson coaching tree grow. Yes. I want to see him start planting seeds around the league and make this happen.
He's got 2 offensive coordinators now, Bieniemy and Declan Doyle.
Well, two guys left to become offensive coordinators. Yeah. We kept Al Harris, Antoine Randall, Dan Rochar, and so far our entire defensive coaching staff. So we did ask to talk to Bengals wide receiver coach Troy Walters, who I believe played in the league.
He declined.
Cardinals, he declined to come here. Cardinals
I'm not sure why.
Coordinator Connor Sanger, a hot ticket to get the job here. All right,
I would be curious to find out why the Bengals wide receivers coach declined. However, he does get to work with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on a daily basis, and that seems like a pretty sweet gig if you're a wide receivers coach. So,
heck yeah. Wanted to flash this up before too long. Next season, the Bears opponents dropped. I think it was today.
They've been out for a few days now.
Has it been out for okay? All right.
Pretty much since the regular season ended, we've known.
Well, of course, we got the Lions, Packers, Vikings home and away. And this season, we have 9 home games instead of 8 like we had last year.
Well, pump the brakes on that one.
Spain.
Well, true. Yeah, right. Yeah, we might be playing in Spain. That's the rumor.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Jaguars Bears hosted in Spain.
Yeah. Speaking of Jaguars, why didn't Trevor Lawrence get the Pro Bowl bid over?
Because the Pro Bowl is a fucking joke.
Because he had a fantastic, he had a career season.
They apparently asked Justin Fields over him. What the heck? What are we doing here?
Well, we'll see the Jaguars next. We get Falcons on the road, Bills on the road, Panthers on the road. We're playing the NFC South. Jaguars, a home game against Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, away game against the Dolphins. And what's the guy's name who took over head coach there? Hafley, former Packers defensive coordinator. We'll get the Patriots
as well.
We get the Patriots and Drake May at home, the Saints at home, the Jets at home. We don't even know who's quarterbacking the Jets next year, right?
Oh, it's going to be me, actually. I forgot to tell you guys.
We got a rematch with the Eagles. We'll play them at Soldier Field. We get to test ourselves, like I said, on the road against the Seahawks. And we'll get the Buccaneers at home, man. Anybody, what do you think the best game you're looking forward to out of the schedule here?
Oh, Packers-Bears at Chicago.
Outside of that, I want to go to Buffalo, going to their new stadium, playing
Yeah, that'll be
Buffalo.
sick.
Yeah, that'll be sick, man.
Honestly, like at
Seattle.
Atlanta and at Seattle, I love both of those stadiums. Honestly,
Yeah.
like if I were able to go to any of these games, those are the two I would highlight as like potential road trip games or whatever. To me, those Mercedes-Benz Stadium looks like a world-class experience, and it's basically an all-you-can-eat buffet with how cheap their concessions prices are.
Really?
Like,
Yeah, it is insane. It is insane.
It seems like Danikin, I'm sure you'll be at that game this year.
Yeah, I went to the last one they played. Justin Fields got hurt in that game or whatever. Yeah, I was at that game.
Oh, Nick Foles run to the L game.
Yeah.
I mean, the schedule doesn't look as tough as I initially thought. It's a first place schedule, but I mean,
it's a 16-1 schedule right there.
Yeah.
Danikin, we get to see that Drake May Caleb matchup. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you see these guys playing against other guys that they were drafted against and things like that, then it's going to be good. So
after this season, the only quarterback from his draft class that he won't have played against, Caleb won't have played against, will be Bo Nix.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, all right. Danikin, you wanted to talk about the 49ers.
Yeah.
I did see it. I was curious. So I saw
you saw it?
No, I haven't seen it, but I was like, what's this? I kind of watched the trailer and stuff, but it's on AMC Plus, I think, right?
Oh man, it's an awesome
Rise
documentary.
of the 49ers or something
Rise
like that.
of the 49ers. Yeah, it came out a couple days ago, and they did. It was 2 nights or whatever. It was good. I was engrossed in it for the whole time. You had, Tom Brady was narrating it and kind of going through. You had Joe Montana, he was there, Steve Young, Jerry Rice. I mean, they talked about from the 70s, the 80s, and on into the 90s, and just the whole dynamic, man. I mean, I remember I was a kid and I was watching it, and I understood the whole 2-system quarterback they were trying to do, and then when you really, they handled it like professionals. I give Steve Young and Joe Montana, but Bill Walsh, I don't know how he didn't rip that team apart doing that, to be honest with you. And if you watch that documentary, you could see that there was some strife there, but it never got out of hand, and all the players still loved the dude. You know what I mean? And they didn't necessarily agree with what he was doing. Because he was playing Steve Young, and I mean, like week to week. Okay, Montana, you start this week. And it's like, how do you do that to arguably at that time, he was the best quarterback ever, right? Joe Montana. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, how do you have the audacity to be like, well, you're not going to dress this week, Joe? You know what I mean? And it's not like he was terrible. He was still playing at a high level. Yeah. He was really, really good.
And he went to the Chiefs after that, I think.
Yeah, and this went on this wasn't like a 1 or 2 seasons. This went on from 87 all the way until like 92 or 93 or whatever. It's like that's a long period of time to be, to be fooling with, and these are legendary quarterbacks. Both of them are Hall of Famers.
Yep.
It's crazy how it all worked out.
And, the 80s Niners, man. I mean, the 80s, the 49ers of the 80s are just incredible teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Walsh and Montana. If you've ever watched the the Elway to Marino 30 for 30, there was talk. Walsh was talking about possibly making a trade to get Elway because by 83 he was upset with him. He wanted to get rid of him at that point. Yeah. So there was always this. Walsh was maybe never completely set on Montana, which is just crazy to think.
It's insane. Insane.
Montana thrived under that because he was always second guessed through college. It was always being benched in college, but he would always come in and save the day. So that was it was almost just everything just worked out perfectly for the 49ers. Just all the personalities, as crazy as they were, they just sort of all aligned,
Yeah. There was no mention of Charles Haley and what he did, but
That's a
Charles-
crazy man.
Charles went into that, the GM's office and urinated and, used the restroom, did all kinds of stuff in there and was like, go ahead and trade me. There was no mention of that in the
They
documentary,
didn't. They
but
skipped over that, glossed over
Yeah,
it. you
yeah.
know?
There was a part where what's his name? The owner went into the locker room and Charles Haley, I guess, was in the locker room because I think he got kicked out of the game or something. And he went in there and he threw a TV across the room. And Charles Haley looked up at him and said, "You're crazier than I am." So,
Yeah, we're talking the Rise of the 49ers documentary that just dropped on AMC Plus, Swifty. Welcome back. We've decided we don't know what Brian Poles is going to do, man, this offseason, man.
And that's
It really is cloudy. We have ideas of what we'd like to see, but, and salary cap will be what, $300 million they raised it for this next season?
It just keeps
estimated to
going
be 301.8 million.
301.8 million.
Swifty,
So,
did you leave just to change your hoodie?
No, I just put a hoodie on because it's getting a little chilly in here.
Okay.
I could have done that right on the show. That would be.
All right, open it up to anything you guys want to talk about. Maybe something you've seen. Any thoughts on any kind of news that dropped this week? Pop culture, food, Super Bowl food. What you want to talk about? Your favorite Super Bowl food? What you're making for the game? Anything like that? Just I'll open it up.
I'm working, man.
You're working for the Super Bowl?
I'm working. It's the third time in my life I'll be working for the Super Bowl. Gotta love the restaurant industry, man. All three times it was working in restaurants.
Never closes.
Oh, excuse me, fourth time working in the Super Bowl. I forgot about the year I worked at
Look,
Buffalo
Steve,
Wild Wings.
I feel a little bad about this, but I worked in the restaurant industry for a long time, and they thought I went to church every single Sunday. Okay?
Sunday's inventory day, man. There's no getting out of it. If I said I gotta go to church,
they would always make
say,
me work doubles on Friday and Saturday, but I would get out of those Sundays, man.
No, if I said I got church, they'd say, "Cool, you can be here by 1 then."
Oh yeah.
It's funny that it's the off season, the Bears season is done, and there's plenty of news, man. We talked about so many different things. There's never a shortage of topics to talk about with the Bears, man. I'll tell you, we're talking about the Bears opponents, and yes, it's a first place schedule, but man, it doesn't seem as daunting as I initially had thought.
that's because you're confident now.
Yeah.
In what you saw on the football field. That's why.
Yep.
If we had Eberflus back there, we'd be.
Oh my god, that looks like a mountain.
3 and 14 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't joke yourself. We're all homers on this show. We would all somehow convince ourselves that 8, 9, 9, and 8. We're probably around 500 this year.
That's right.
Like Eberflus can't mess up that bad, right? He's got to learn to take timeouts and not go home with them.
Man. I'll tell you, I was at that game. I wanted to jump on the field and slap him because I was looking at him like, you guys.
Hey, we would have.
I was in Detroit.
We would have had your back, bro. We would have all bailed you out.
You would have got me. Yeah, I appreciate that. I wanted to so bad, man.
You could have done it in a stadium full of 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 people and not had a single witness, man. It would have been the most amazing thing that's ever happened.
I did wanted to mention thing. I was watching the Senior Bowl, and it was the Panini Senior Bowl, the Panini, the trading cards. And when a player did something, or scored a touchdown, or whatever, they could jump up into this Panini like photo booth thing.
Oh,
did you guys see that? It was like kind of cool, man. Like it's like a giant trading card. They could jump in and get a picture taken and stuff during the game. It looks
like you're on the trading card.
It looks like you're on the card, right? I thought it was kind of cool, man. And the Senior Bowl shit. It was watching. I saw some players I liked, man, for sure. And I thought the MVP was Garrett Nussmeier, the LSU quarterback.
Of course.
Who throws a pretty ball, played pretty well. Diego Pavia played all right. Nussmeier had 2 of his wide receivers there. Either of those 2 guys I wouldn't mind seeing on the Bears. They're smaller, really fast little separators. Has some blazing speed. I think the Bears kind of need one of those like guys out of the slot that can run a crossing pattern and separate, and maybe break one for a home run.
There was a wide receiver there that really would fit the Bears. That's mocked in the 5th, 6th round. Kevin Coleman Jr. Man, he's got home run speed. He can return punts. He can return kicks, and he's a guy who can take the top off of defense. I think he'd be a perfect fit.
You know, I do like that later round guy that I was really intrigued by is Kyle Lewis, linebacker out of Pittsburgh.
He had a big day.
He is so quick, man. He's got like that Urlacher kind of speed where like Urlacher would chase guys down that had no business being chased down. Like that's where I feel like Kyle Lewis.
Yeah, I agree. We do need to get faster at linebacker. I know they drafted Hippolyte for.
That's why we drafted
speed for that purpose.
But he didn't have nearly the tape that Kyle Lewis has.
No, yeah, that's not, if you bring back a guy like DeMarco Jackson, you draft Kyle Lewis.
Yep.
You have Hippolyte in there. The linebacker might be
all of a sudden it's a decent crew, right?
And Demario Davis is a free agent from the Saints. Any thoughts on Dennis Allen bringing him back?
He's so old.
Yeah,
my
thing would be his
age. Also, the highest number of tackles in his career was this past year.
Yeah,
I've never thought of tackles to be a huge indicator of success for linebackers. A lot of times, where are they getting the tackles? I like tackles for.
Yeah, why is the defense on the field that long?
Yeah,
I mean, I saw Courtney Cronin actually. This made me laugh because she put in the Bears redraft. I don't know if you guys saw that. They had one of the, they do the NFL redrafts.
Mm-hmm.
She had us taking Bengals linebacker. I forget his name, Demetrius Knight in the 2nd round because he had so many tackles. He had those tackles on the worst defense in the NFL, and he got benched late in the season. That is not a guy I'm trying to draft in the 2nd round just because he had some high tackle number.
Well, I mean, that's the age of fantasy football. That's what this is. You know what I mean? Fantasy football kind of dominates, the stats that guys can accumulate. The average or casual fan, they lean heavily upon that, and that's what they see. So they don't see the whole totality of the game and what's being done.
Devin Lloyd, Jaguars linebacker, is a free agent. He's going to command a large salary.
I'm a fan of Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is he's going to cost you $16 million.
It's going to cost you a big contract, though.
You're going to get rid of Edmonds just to pay a different guy the same salary.
Yep.
Yeah. At that point, Edmonds is fast too. I really haven't given up on Edmonds. I'm curious to see what they do with him. I think he's a guy. Maybe they extend him. Maybe they cut him. I'm completely 50-50 on that.
You cannot keep his contract the way that it is. That, I think, is very apparent. You have to do something to either alleviate the cap hit or
all they got to do is re-sign him.
Right. You can push it down the line with a re-sign. He's in the last year of his contract.
He's in the last year of his contract. But here's the thing. I'm confused a little bit by you on that one because DJ Moore's contract's fine. It's okay to pay a guy $28.5 million for 600 yards, but not $17 million for a starting linebacker.
No.
I don't know.
One of these guys is a premium position, and the other one is not.
A number 3 wide receiver that makes you not premium.
He is not a number 3 wide receiver.
On our offense, he is.
He is not a number 3 wide receiver, even on this offense.
Oh, let me look it up. Who got the?
I don't know.
I mean, you got Colston Loveland. He's going to be our number 1. Romo Dunze is also a number 1. Do you think there's any world where going into 2026, DJ gets more targets than Colston Loveland or Romo Dunze if they're all 100% healthy?
I think there is a way. a way. If Rome doesn't start catching the ball and lower his drop rate, then he should stop getting as many targets as he gets.
The other thing,
that's just a fact.
And this is something that I preached before the season started. On this show, before the season started, I preached that I think DJ Moore is not a receiver in this offense. He is a weapon in this offense. And I don't necessarily think he might get more receptions, but he might get more touches. And that's a key differentiation point that I think is worth talking about. He was lined up in the backfield. He was used on reverses. Excuse me. If he is that low in their minds, hell, throw him back at punt return. You can't afford to keep Duvernay on the team if you're paying him $28 million, apparently. So you never know. I think it would be a complete waste of his talents, but he can do it.
Here's the thing. DJ had 85 targets this year, right? In all 17 games. Rome played 12 games and had a fractured foot since week 5 and got 5 more targets than DJ. Colston Loveland only started 11 games and had 82 targets. So at that rate, both Rome and Colston Loveland are already more favored in Ben Johnson's offense this year. Now you're looking at 2026, Rome and Colston Loveland, especially Colston, should be taking on larger roles.
Okay,
is that favored in Ben Johnson's office or favored by Caleb too?
Well, and not only is it favored by Caleb, what you're sitting here telling me, and I know you know this.
Because Caleb was force feeding Rome for a minute, bro.
I'm also going to spell this out. You're sitting here telling me that Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs had more tackles than Chris Harris. And it's like, well, yeah, I'd hope so.
What?
Like,
what does that have to do with anything?
They play different positions.
You're having a completely different conversation, my man.
No, my point is they play different positions. I'd hope my linebackers have more tackles than my safeties. You're asking your top receiving options to have more catches than a guy who's a different option in the offense.
I mean, Luther Burden started 5 games and had 60 targets. 60 targets. He had 20 less than DJ on the whole season.
Okay, but using starts as a stat in that particular argument, you know you're skewing numbers to your advantage at that point. Come on.
He was buried on the depth chart and still almost had as many targets as DJ did.
I don't care how many starts he had. I want to compare snaps at that point.
Yeah, he had 35% snap share.
And when he was on the field, he got targeted at a much higher rate than DJ Moore.
Yep,
that tells you
that's valid. That's completely valid.
Jerry Rice-like was yards per route run.
Burden had a special season.
What I would look at it and say is Burden and Colston Loveland. I'm not going to fight on that because the production level is there, right?
Yep.
You can get a ton of targets, but if your production level is not up, then I don't care about those targets. They don't mean anything to me. Matter of fact, I'd rather them go to somebody else. That's why I mentioned Rome Odunze. His drop rate is insane, bro, and he's like top. What was he, top 3 or 4 in the league or whatever drop rate? So if you're getting a ton of targets, you're getting 90, 95 targets, whatever you got. And if you're not converting on those at the rate that Luther Burden or Colston Loveland is, then I have an issue with that. You know what I mean? So I think those are the more just your target count doesn't matter to me. It's what you do with it. What production did you get? Luther Burden catches the ball and he's taking off. He's running for yards, right? His average was, what was his average? 14. I think Colston Levinson's was around 14 as well, right? Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
both of them averaging 14 yards per catch. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like the production level is really good. I don't want a guy getting a ton of targets and the production is not, where it should be. So
that's it. Well, and
I think the biggest, and that's why I say the biggest question mark in this offense to me is what's Rome going to do? Because obviously Caleb loves throwing him the ball. I like that, and I'm cool with that. And I like Rome. I'm not banging on him. But at the end of the day, I need to see more production from him. I need
Rome Odunze had 5 drops on the year.
DJ had his 3. His drop weight was way higher than that.
He had 5 recorded drops on the year.
Are there a couple more that might have been? And now that's not counting the playoff game. Well, actually, it is counting the playoff game.
And look, we can do the same thing for DJ. Did he slow up on some routes? Did he run the wrong route? Did targets not come to him? Yeah, I mean, it's year 1 of an offense. These guys are going to make mistakes.
That's why I asked the question if you thought there was going to be positive regression for these guys in the second year of Ben Johnson's offense.
Minimum of 70 targets. Rome had a 12.3% drop rate, which was 5 in the league. Number 5, 5th worst. Alec Almaynor, he was 17%. Brian Thomas was 14. Theo Johnson was 14. Jamison Williams was 13, and Romo Dunze came in at 12. His drop rate needs to go. It needs to come down. That's just it's just being honest.
That's true, and that's why there's ways you can get the ball more to guys like Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. But you also got to realize Rome was playing. I think a lot of people are forgetting he was playing with a fractured foot.
He was playing hurt.
At
Since
week
about
5,
week 5, yeah.
When he had that foot fracture, he was top 10 in the NFL in yards per reception,
and everything,
catches, yards, and touchdowns. The guy played through a broken foot.
Yeah.
Now, is that an excuse to drop the ball?
No.
Most people are going to say no. Why?
If you're on the field, there ain't no excuse.
Yeah.
It's just a fact, bro. If you're on the field,
Rome is a
there's no
stud,
excuse.
man. I've watched Rome.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not a stud.
Someone
but
needs
I'm saying we gotta call it 100%.
Well,
if we call out DJ for certain
James
things,
and I
we
think
gotta call out Rome for certain things. We gotta call out whoever. It's gotta be. We gotta be consistent.
I think Danikin, you make a good point with that as well, because if DJ Moore does go, I think your games missed due to injury go up. You know, they called him out point blank. Ben Johnson called him out point blank for saying, you know, DJ's out there, he's fighting through stuff, and other guys see that, and they gotta, you know, he said that point blank. I mean, that's a valuable thing to add to your roster. Now, is it a reason to keep him around at $28 million? A very small drop in the bucket, but it's something that's going to go into the consideration. My point being, with the conversation y'all just had, though, to back it up just a moment, you know, I compared it to defense, right? Let your linebackers get the tackles, let your safeties and corners get the turnovers, right? You know, let your tight ends and your slot guys, i.e. Burden and Loveland, do the dirty work, get the first downs. Let DJ Moore get the touchdowns. Let him get those game-winning moments. Like, again, would you rather have $20 million in cap space or 2 wins against the Packers? Like, it's such a hard – I don't think it's as cut and dry as we want to make it. And that's my only argument in this whole point. I don't think they get rid of him because I think what he brings to the table is extremely valuable. And as far as the intangible parts of the game.
You got to stop saying he's the only reason we beat the Packers, though, man. I mean, yes, he had some amazing catches.
He caught the ball. He caught the 2 touchdowns that won the game.
Overtime. We were, even if he doesn't catch that ball, we're still at the 40-yard line, ready to go down there and kick a field goal.
That's great. We were at the 40-yard line, ready to go down there and kick a field goal against the Rams. How'd that end?
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good counterpoint. But
I just, you know,
DJ's a stud. Look, I love DJ Moore. I think a lot of people don't realize the NFL is a business. And when you look at the business aspect things, take your emotions out of it. Take how you feel about DJ Moore out of it, and look at how they construct this roster. And Ben Johnson, if he thought DJ Moore was a long-term part of this offense, I don't think we draft Colston Loveland and Luther Burden in the beginning of the draft. Those are 2 guys who need targets.
Okay, so if Ben Johnson doesn't think that he's a long-term piece to this offense, the draft happened. DJ Moore got his contract extension after the draft. So what is this man?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That's wrong. He got his contract extension. It
was last season.
A year ago. It doesn't kick in until next year.
During training camp.
2024.
It was during training camp that he got this year or last year?
Eberflus was our coach. It happened when we were on Hard Knocks. It happened on episode 2.
Yeah, it was in Hard Knocks.
All right, well,
24.
Either you know, I don't know. Maybe that's the case or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I'm still a believer that, you know, like Fitz said, this offense has weapons everywhere. You got DJ Moore, you got Romo Dunze, you got Zacchaeus who was in there. You got
he's gone.
You know, he's gone. But you got Luther Burden, you got DeAndre Swift who can catch the ball at the backfield. You got Kyle Monangai who catches some balls at the backfield. Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet. You have a ton of guys. There's not going to be a guy, if we're sitting here saying we need your production to be 1,200 yards, 1,000 yards, otherwise you're not worth this money. to me, it doesn't make sense. I believe in surrounding a young quarterback with as much talent as you need.
Yep.
And then once he gets to his contract year, you start pulling guys away. And you say, okay, kid, now it's time for you to make everybody around you better.
And
That's going to happen no matter what. The writing's on the wall with DJ. His last year here, no matter what, is going to be 2027. There's almost zero chance he's here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
So it comes down to what does Ryan Poles want to do? Do you want to restructure his deal and put some of that money where you're going to have to be paying eating dead cap space after DJ's gone?
No.
Or do you want to try and move him for a draft pick and use that money elsewhere because you have other guys who are ready to step up? When you have a Colston Loveland, you have a Luther Burden, you have a Romo Dunze, and you have a Cole Kmet. And then you can sign someone. You could sign a $10 or $12 million a year receiver in free agency and draft a guy in the 5th round, and you're still surrounding Caleb with a ton of talent. That's all I'm saying.
You could sign Wan'Dale Robinson and get the same production as DJ.
Oh, God, no.
For $10 million, $15 million less.
Who'd you say?
Wan'Dale Robinson will not, period, end of story, give you the amount of production.
He already had more production with the Giants.
No. He did not have more production. He had more production for the Giants. Like, that's such an arbitrary argument. He didn't play in the system.
You have other guys like Colston.
You can't compare the two offenses. It's not a fair comparison.
Thank you. You're articulating much better than me right now, Danikin. I'm all worked up. I think Cliff Victoria in the chat made the best point of the night. You keep DJ unless you can get someone better for him or for his price tag. And can you get more impact on your roster for the amount of money that you're paying him? I don't know that you can.
I don't know.
Wan'Dale Robinson is projected.
You don't think a $28 million a year pass rusher could make more of an impact than DJ Moore could when you have guys to replace DJ Moore's production? Guys that Ben Johnson handpicked.
Oh, yeah. Well, Zacchaeus is gone, so Luther Burden is definitely the 3 now.
Zacchaeus is a free agent. You're right.
At the very least.
Luther Burden's going to step up. Colston Loveland's going to step up. I mean, I think it's there, guys. I just think the writing's on the wall. 1 or 2 things going to happen. I would love to keep DJ. I'm just trying to be realistic with it. Teams don't always want to trade players.
The contract is unwieldy. That's the problem.
There's only 2 options. He's going to restructure or be traded.
At DJ Moore's price point, you can get Josh Hines-Allen, Brian Burns,
Gimme,
Montez Sweat, already on your team, Rashawn Gary. Those are roughly the guys that are in the same price range as what you're paying DJ Moore.
Well, the options, though, the free agents are Jalen Phillips, Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack.
Yeah, there's
you can get Mack in a 1-to-1 swap for Tremaine Edmonds. You bring back DeMarco Jackson, you sign Khalil Mack, you keep DJ Moore. Is that a better roster than you've got right now? Yeah.
I wouldn't be against that.
I'm just saying there's so many options right there that I go back to my original point that it feels cut and dry to just say I'd rather have the money than the player, but there's just so much more intricacies to all of this than that. And granted, it's February 4th right now. We've got 6-ish weeks till the beginning of free agency. A lot of stuff can happen between now and then.
100%. And I don't want people to think I'm bashing DJ because I love.
No, DJ. we don't think that.
Oh, that's exclusively what we think. We would never imagine anything else.
No.
I would love for Ryan Poles to find a way to keep him, but I try to be realistic with the hard truths. Yep. And I don't care what people say. I do think it is an option this offseason. That doesn't mean he's 100% going to get traded, but I do believe 100% by the end of next year, 2027, DJ will not be on this roster anymore. So,
but that's the thing that we were saying. I mean, it's a it's a hard truth, but it's a hard conversation, and that's what I alluded to when I talked about Ryan Poles, right? Like they're gonna be everything's on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you get this roster and continue to build this roster and stay flexible and say, you know what I mean, and spend money and stay flexible at the same time.
Who do you get
and you have to look at those
that creates the
things,
impact? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm thinking out loud.
But think about Ryan Poles too. What has he shown that he will do for players? If he believes that player doesn't want to be here, and they could potentially, because think about who DJ Moore is. DJ Moore has been one of the better receivers in the NFL, top 15. He makes $28 million. Do you think DJ wants to stay here and get less targets than potentially Romo Dunze, Luther Burden, and Colston Loveland? Or do you think you want to go to New York or a team like the Titans and be a number one receiver and get 120 targets and have a chance to make a Pro Bowl?
You know what? I think DJ Moore would much rather win at this point in his career. This is the first year that he's had a winning season, right?
Yep.
And what he did
in pros and college
when the game was on the line.
You know what I mean?
He might have been concussed though.
Yeah, I mean,
for the record,
that was crazy.
For the record, Wan'Dale Robinson 2025 stats: 92 catches, 1,014 yards, 4 touchdowns. Pretty good numbers on a bad team.
Yeah.
Could he catch 50 and 650 with the Bears? Yeah. Could he catch more than that too? I think it's possible. The dude's a real good separator in the slot. And you'd be half the price cost of DJ Moore. But I love DJ Moore. I'm just saying the contract is massive, and the production doesn't match the contract. And I think we're probably stuck with it.
As a counterpoint to my own argument here, just looking at some players that you can get for about the same price tag, and again, looking at guys kind of in the Ryan Poles range.
Can you define the same price tag as who?
So about $28 million, right?
You're talking the same contract as DJ Moore's.
I'm saying you could alleviate the $28 million and have that money to bring in other players.
Okay.
And I'm saying you bring in a wide receiver as a replacement for him, and you bring in an edge rusher because that's what everybody seems to want right now. Right.
So you bring in who's the edge and who's the wide receiver?
Guys that I think fit generally sort of Ryan Poles kind of contract or kind of target structure. Guys you can get for cheap, guys you can get for long periods of time, and guys who are kind of young. Right. You bring in Arnold Ebiketie from Atlanta. Edge rusher, 27 years old, estimated to cost about $9 million a year. And you bring in
heard of him. Sorry.
Arnold Ebiketie? You've never heard of him.
No.
See?
Swifty, do you know the player?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's why I think he's a perfect Ryan Poles kind of target.
Fitzy, do you know the player? No. Me either. How about Danikin? You know the foul? Well, he lives in Atlanta. He probably knows. Right?
Who's that?
Arnold Ebiketie. You know the player?
No, not much about him. No.
Okay.
I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know.
What did he do last year, number wise? Just
2 sacks. But he had
not
6
much.
the 2 previous years.
6 sacks. Pressure rate is probably decent.
Yes.
Okay.
This is why I say I think he's a Ryan Poles kind of guy. He looks
he's
for
looking
upside.
at pressure.
He said he's a Poles guy.
He looks for pressure rate and upside. Yeah, I agree.
And then at wide receiver, you bring in Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, I mentioned Shaheed. Yeah, I mean he's a guy who can stretch the field and be a punt returner.
Exactly.
He's not the best route.
Probably won't be a punt returner for the price you're going to have to pay him at about $14 million a year. So we're looking at $14 million and $9 million. You still free up.
You get the special teams bonus there.
You still free up about $5 million a year, and you bring in these 2 guys. Do you do that move if you can offload? For maybe a 4th round pick, just straight up.
You would like to have another wide receiver and an edge player in place of DJ Moore.
I'm just saying.
Moore's contract.
I'm trying to be open-minded here and present a counter argument to my own argument, just to see what you guys think. If I were to be wrong, again, it's a thought experiment. I'm just trying to feel you guys out here. Like, these are two kinds of guys that I feel like Poles would go after.
Yeah.
I'm 50-50 on that. I'm not
Swifty
a big
even
Shahid
agreed
fan.
with me on Shahid, so I feel slightly
I like
validated
Shahid,
here.
yeah.
Shahid's a
I don't
burner,
want
but,
Albert over here. 28 years old.
How old is he, Shahid?
27 going on 28.
27 going on 28.
You're younger than DJ.
Wandale Robinson is
It would
25.
cost half the money.
Wandale Robinson cost you twice as much.
As Shahid?
Maybe.
No,
I don't think
estimated
Wandale's going to get a
14
huge
million.
contract.
Okay, he cost you probably in the $20 million range, though. Somebody's going to look at that one game he had with like 14 catches and 122 yards and pay out the ass for him. It's going to be like New Orleans or somebody stupid like that.
You could get 14 million a year on a three-year contract or 4-year contract.
Somebody's going to give him 4 years, $100 million. Just watch.
Look at what J2K just said in the comments, because it's not about just replacing the 28 million, because money's fluid. If you get the 28 million, you get that. What if he's the difference in adding a guy like Trey Hendrickson and bringing back Kevin Byard? Would you trade DJ at that point if it means you can bring back Kevin Byard and you can sign a guy like Trey Hendrickson? That's the real question, because I think that's what it comes down to. And if we don't have
you're now drafting wide receiver for need rather than for best player available, because you have to fill out the room, or you're bringing in a guy like JP Richardson to fill out the back end of your roster.
Did you forget about Jade Walker?
You still need a number 5.
That's where you draft Kevin Coleman in round 5. Or you could sign a Rashid Shaheed. You can still afford to sign Shaheed.
You know as well as I do, you never want to go into the draft and say, I have to draft this player.
That's why you need free agency. Yeah,
that's right. You got to fill out the roster.
Have to draft a 5th wide receiver.
And Tony Moy brings up a good point. What number target is DJ on the Bears?
Well, think about between 1 and 3. One point we haven't mentioned here, okay? With Ben Johnson's offense and the wide receivers, we have Cole Kmet still on the roster. We have Colston Loveland. What if Ben Johnson wants to run a lot more 12 personnel next year and only use 2 receivers at a time? And then you have Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet all on the field. And your 5th receiver doesn't matter as much when you're running a lot of 12.
Your personnel. 5th receiver can be Tyson Bagent at that point. You're right.
Yeah.
You're totally not wrong. I mean, the bottom, I don't know. I just don't believe in building rosters that way. And that's where it's now like going to come down to me and like my core philosophies on this versus emotion or anything else, you know?
I just think keeping look, DJ Moore will keep prevent Luther from getting as many snaps as he needs to just become the superstar that he's going to be. We all know he's going to be.
And I think he is. I think he's going to be a superstar. I think, and if you look at a team like the Cowboys a few years back when they had Amari Cooper, and they didn't have a deep wide receiver room. They had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. And they trade Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb instantly became one of the best receivers in the NFL. Sometimes it's about target opportunity. And when you have too many guys in the room, I just think we have an abundance of weapons on offense. It's not just the wide receiver room. You also have to realize the tight end room as well, because Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland both deserve a lot of targets. And then Luther Burden needs targets, and Rome Odunze needs targets. We have Jade Walker as a backup as well. Swift's going to get targets out of the backfield. How much is there really for DJ Moore?
I know.
And if you continue letting him be your 3rd or 4th option on offense, his trade value is going to tank. So I think that's what it comes down to.
I think you're right. It's a higher than people think probability that he's not here.
With this contract, I don't know that his trade value really gets any worse, just because the contract already is going to be a huge burden for people.
He won the contract battle, his agents.
That's for sure.
That's BS. Know, that's BS. He didn't win the contract battle. He
got a great deal.
He earned it, though.
He did earn it.
Now,
at the time, it seemed like a very team-friendly deal too.
Yeah,
he earned that contract, and $28 million. He's not getting, like I said, he's not getting $40 million. So
right,
you know,
where is it in terms of? It's one of the top what contracts of wide receivers?
It's
I
13.
believe it's
He's number
13.
13 in the league.
13 overall.
13.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty high. I was going to say top 10, but
Well,
But you
and
know
it's a
what?
top
There's going to
15
be
contract.
there's
Within
going to
a
be
few
several.
weeks.
There's
Yeah.
going to be several that pass him up right now.
It will literally be a matter of weeks before it's
You know,
16, 17, 18 in the league.
Yeah.
You know?
and that's the thing that we have
Wandale
to
Robinson
understand
might
as well.
outstructure him.
Sometimes we have to understand that it's the going rate for guys. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
Like,
at the same time,
you're
it's
not going to
almost
be able to get
10%.
around it.
It's almost 10% of our cap.
Well, I mean,
You know what I'm
is what
saying?
it is.
There's
Yeah.
52 guys on the team. You know?
But
Yeah.
like George Pickens, Jawan Jennings, who's the other one? You
But those
just
guys are
talked
going to
about?
fly
Wandale
past him all of
Robinson,
a sudden right now.
Alec
those
They're gonna
Pierce,
fly past
Alec
him.
Pierce. Those are four guys just on this current free agent
agency
class
who are
that
gonna
could
get hired.
potentially
They're going to
outpace
leapfrog
him
him.
in
Pierce, though?
They're
contract.
going to get 30 million probably.
Alec
Right.
Pierce.
I
Alec
don't know
Pierce,
if he'll-
Spot Track projects him as the second highest paid receiver in this current free agency class at $21
That's a
million
little crazy to
right
me,
now.
but
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh, it's insane. But you've got to remember,
That's the going rate for these guys, though.
he's 21 years old, or excuse me, he's 26 years old, and that is the going rate. You got to pay these guys. Romeo
So you can add a
Doubs,
fifth receiver like Khalif Raymond, Tutu Atwell, Kendrick Bourne for around $3 million.
yeah.
And still have
I don't
a
hate that.
stud wide receiver room.
I know. I don't think we can pound this horse. Beat this
I
horse.
don't. The longer
much
we
further,
talk
but-
about it, the more
Yeah.
I feel like we're talking about all the wrong positions.
No, I love it. I love talking about things that a lot of people don't talk about, and it's
Yeah.
clearly
wide
we're all fans of DJ Moore. We'd like to see
I
him
know.
stay in Chicago. We'll see how it shakes out.
I'm just gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh my ass off in a few weeks when DJ's still on this team and he's got his bag and they restructured his contract, and instead they're out there signing corners and
I just don't know
safeties
who's
and
gonna trade for him.
linebackers. And
I mean, ideally, like who would trade for him? The Raiders. You know, the Raiders seem to have
Raiders,
the
Giants,
cap space.
Jets,
If
Panthers.
somebody trades for Max Crosby, that'll open them up,
Bills. What about the
the-
Bills?
The Bills are in cap hell, though. I think, aren't they, with the
They
gigantic
can
Josh
afford
Allen
DJ.
contract? But they need a wide receiver one.
Teams like the
you know,
Titans. I
Seattle's
don't
got
think
all
you'd wanna
kinds
go
of
to the
cap
Titans.
space right now.
Who
Seattle's got all kinds of cap space right now.
do they really?
They do.
I don't
That's
wanna
the
make them better.
terrifying
Nobody
part of
wants
them
to
right
make
now.
the Seahawks better, okay?
Yeah.
The Seahawks are currently in the Super Bowl with a projected like $90 million in cap space next year. Oh, it's
Jeez.
disgusting. I hate it.
gotta commend
They are genuinely set up to build this thing for a while, and I hate it.
J2K makes a nice point. The Bills in Carolina have coaches that coached DJ before. I mean, the Panthers don't really need a wide receiver one, though.
Yeah,
Ted
they got
McMillan,
Ted
that
out
guy's-
there.
Guys,
T-Mac.
Ted
uh,
DJ would be nice.
yeah, DJ would be a nice say. What's that
Send
other
him back
guy's?
there.
Jalen Coker is
He'd be pissed.
pretty good player. Yeah,
Can you
J2K.
imagine? Like,
Could we rip them off again? That would be funny, right?
can you get their
Yeah.
first rounder back?
Trade? Are we talking about trading DJ back to the Panthers here? Is that what? Yeah,
That graphic that
they
shows
said
the hall
Baltimore,
every
Baltimore.
year. Like, imagine it just growing.
What about Baltimore, where Declan Doyle went? They don't have
Right.
a wide receiver number one either. Lamar
Yep.
Jackson would love a DJ Moore.
Yeah.
They got Zay Flowers. That boy is going
Zay,
crazy
I like
next
Zay.
year.
I like Zay.
Zay would be a lot better if DJ's taking the attention away
Yeah,
from
if
him.
Zay
DJ's
Flowers is a top 3 fantasy wide receiver next year.
If
Book
DJ
it.
is opposite Zay, then I think that's a pretty good match there with Declan. All right, fellas, okay, we went way past. We're like almost an hour past.
Oh my
That's
Uh,
your fault.
everybody's
You
gotta work.
could have cut us off.
I know.
I was ready to
You
talk
wanna talk about
Rip
DJ for an
and-
hour.
Let's go around the horn and the last thoughts and comments and shout outs. Go ahead, Danikin.
Shout out to Three Kings of the Midway podcast.
Yeah,
Shout out to you guys, man. Appreciate you guys stopping in and being here today. It's been a lively discussion. We had a good time, man. Hey, we're gonna do this all off season, man. I can't wait. We're about to get into some real good stuff. So
Yeah. Free
it's
agency
gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be
Hopefully
a fun,
Swifty might
fun
come
time.
back again.
Sure.
Swifty might come back another time. If you had a
I'll come back.
All right. Nice.
For sure.
All right, Zim. What do you got?
Oh man, just real quick before I do my shout outs, I gotta bring this point home about DJ. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're about to get the impatient bear. Yeah.
Impatient Fitz here.
Danikin and Fitz, you guys both look exhausted. I appreciate
I
you
know.
so much for hanging out with us
I got a big day
tonight.
tomorrow.
You guys do so much heavy lifting for this show that I don't even think you know you do. I
Oh, yeah.
love you guys.
Great.
I love having you on this show. I love talking with you every week. Swifty, it's been so great talking to you. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I knew we were going to get our time. I just had to be patient. We really had it out tonight, and it was awesome. It's so nice to yell at someone who's not Danikin for a change. I feel like Danikin and I were ganging up on you for a minute, and you were a great sport with it. You had a counterpoint for everything we brought up, man. That is exactly why we do this show. We've reached the highest. It's got
almost 400 people watching.
I was going to say the highest view count. God, I'm losing my words tonight, guys. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I'm on the mend from something or another, and I've got this brain fog that I just can't fight through. But I'm trying so hard. But yeah, we had one of the highest view counts I've seen in a long time from it all. It just goes to show the quality of the discussion, the quality of the show that we've put on. Feels like, the chat room really enjoyed it. And guys, just thank you to all of you out there. I appreciate you guys picking up the slack when I'm late, like every week, it feels like at this point. So yeah, I'll leave it all to you. Fitz, please continue to make us hungry for the next off season.
Frados,
man.
I'm trying. I've got some ideas, so yeah, I will continue to do that. Yeah, shout out to you guys. I was about ready to talk about the rip, and then we got back onto DJ.
I forgot. Yeah.
Oh no!
And just my mind, it was like a distance runner. I was ready to end, and then
what'd you think? Did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah,
so did I. It was great. I thought it was a good, fast watch. It was something. Just kept going, and it was a good one. So,
if you like the rip, check out Relay.
Okay.
With what's that guy? Riz Ahmed and Lily James and Sam Worthington. Really good. Has a nice twist at the end, like the rip.
Yeah, my dad said the rip was good. I need to watch it.
Oh, it was good, man.
It's a good watch, easy watch. Yeah, but I enjoyed the last 20 minutes listening to you guys go at it there.
We got draft talk coming up and free agency and all that stuff. So it's going to be a big off season.
Yeah. So yeah, Swifty, thanks for coming on. It's great to chat with you. Yeah, doing some great stuff out there. So yeah, thanks guys for another great show, and I love doing this every week.
That's it.
We love having you too. Go ahead, Swifty.
Oh
man,
sorry, Swifty. I'm going to cut you off real quick. Sorry,
go ahead.
I see it in the chat. FGB hat, Tally Sports. If you guys like it, Tally Sports on Twitter. Go find them if you want your own FGB hat.
Tally Sports, nice.
I didn't know you guys were trying to talk movies. We could have cut that DJ Moore talk a long time ago.
I know.
But hey, I love it. Hey, Tooch, Danikin, Fitz, all you guys. This was so fun, man. I mean, Steven as well. I almost forgot your name for a second.
It's okay. All I did
was like, the name went away,
okay.
and I was like, my brain stopped working. And I was like, listen, I love chopping it up with you guys. I think it was fun. And it's honestly, it's just a great time to be a Bears fan, man. It's good to be discussing a team that is winning football games. We've all been through a lot with this fan base. And I think no matter what decisions we make this offseason, the future of this team is still going to be so bright. And that's why it's a lot more fun to have these discussions than talk about what coach we're going to hire, who's going to be our quarterback, who's going to be this. The future of this team is finally in a great place. So we're actually having good, positive football discussions that are about shaping this roster and the future of this team. And no matter which way I think we go, I think it's going to be great. Keep DJ. don't keep DJ. I think this team's going to be great either way, and I'm excited for it. Hopefully we can keep him, but I just like to put the writings on the wall out there. But I love chopping it up with you guys, and invite me back anytime. I'll come.
That's what's
All
up,
right,
man.
it was great. Great
Appreciate
job, everybody. Great job. Friday, 5:30, 6 p.m. Weekend sports betting tips with myself and Anthony and Sean, talking Super Bowl prop plays, best bets, and then we'll have free agency and draft picks. We'll have to get Swifty back for when we talk draft players we like in the draft stuff. We'll have a draft show or two. I'd love to get Swifty back and talk about some of the players in the draft before and Bare Their Souls too. We'll have some draft stuff, players you like for the Bears, etc. Shout out to
And
the
you
chat.
can avoid
like 3
talking about
weeks.
DJ Moore that show
Yeah, we'll
too.
talk. No more DJ Moore talk for DJ. And then shout out to you four guys. Fantastic job tonight. The chat, great job. Great questions, great comments in the chat as always, man. All right, fellas, have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Take it easy.
Good night.
Ciao. Bear down.
Peace.